up inside the spot where the stories never sleep, where the shadows whisper secrets that they keep. Brewing up the tales with a twist of fate at the TruCrime Cafe. It's a date you can't fake. Every sip reveals a mystery, echoes from a history. Old school vibes with a brand new beat. Pull up a chair, feel the heat. Welcome to the TruCrime Cafe, where the past and rhythm collide and play. Spin the tales, let the truth survive. Old school pop with a hip-hop vibe. TruCrime Cafe is the place to be. Pouring stories with a melody, catchy beats and dark intrigue. At the TruCrime Cafe, we believe. Yeah. Hear the record scratch, the scene unfolds. Detective tales and secrets told, from cold cases to headlines bold. Every note another story sold. Every sip reveals a mystery, echoes from a history. Old school vibes with a brand new beat. Pull up a chair, feel the heat. Welcome to the TruCrime Cafe, where the past and rhythm collide and play. Spin tales, let the truth survive. Old school pop with a hip-hop vibe. TruCrime Cafe is the place to be. Pouring stories with a melody, catchy beats and dark intrigue. At the TruCrime Cafe, we believe. Crack the code, unravel lies underneath those neon skies. Sweet like coffee, sharp like clues, rhythm and mystery fuse. Welcome to the TruCrime Cafe, where the past and rhythm collide and play. Spin tales, let the truth survive. Old school pop with a hip-hop vibe. TruCrime Cafe is the place to be. Pouring stories with a melody, catchy beats and dark intrigue. At the TruCrime Cafe, we believe. So come around when the night gets deep, yeah. TruCrime Cafe, the secrets keep. Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh.
Here comes the crew. All in blue. Here comes the crew. All in blue. Yeah. All in blue. Tomboy stomping in steel toes. Tandy talk slick, that still flow. Leah lean back, got real glow. SRB slide through, that real slow. Sassy Cassie with the side eye. Jesse Lynn hit him, watch him backslide. Christy Nevada with the wild ride. Lucy Morningstar, set the sky bright. Fizzy Snoop the 75, brain sharp. Cat K cut deep, leave a faint mark. This is chaos when the play start. Typically unique role, high art. Man got a plan that lock tight. The last 24, running all night. Rainy B laugh, but the aim right. Molly Cat pounce when it's on sight, on sight. Here comes the blue crew, doing their thing. Dropping that hammer, making it rain. Name on your lips, better watch what you say. Don't mess with the blue crew, move out the way. Here comes the blue crew, heavy that swing. Dropping that hammer, making it sing. City on lock when they step in the frame. Don't mess with the blue crew, put respect on the name. We don't bark, we just walk through. Whole room hush when we talk truth. Every side street, no hoop. Every back row, feel blue. From the first light to the late shift. If you slide slick, that's a grave lift. Crew, tight knit like a chain link. Try, break one, whole chain blink. Tomboy front, that pace set. Tandy count wins like a paycheck. Leah, hold calm when the wave crash. SRB dry, never break fast. Sassy Cassie laugh, then it's lights out. Jesse lean quiet, then the light shout. Christy Lucy, all about that fight route. Blue crew stand tall, never wipe out. Never. Here comes the blue crew, doing that thing. Dropping that hammer, making it rain. Name on your lips, better watch what you say. Don't mess with the blue crew, move out the way. Here comes the blue crew, heavy that swing. Dropping that hammer, making it sing. City on lock when they step in the frame. Don't mess with the blue crew, put respect on the name. Roll call, step up the squad. If you ain't down, back off, that's the law, we don't break. We been still, that's true. One voice, one banner, blue crew, hey! Here comes the blue crew, doing throwing that thing, dropping that ham, making it rain. Name on your lips, better watch what you say. Don't mess with the blue crew. Move out the way. Here comes the blue crew. Heavy that swing, dropping that ham, making it sing. City on lock when they step in the frame. Don't mess with the blue crew. Put respect on the name.
Click on the channel, same old script. She reads that page with a plastic twitch. Wild old hair, weird old face. Spilling cheap drama all over the place. Claims that she cares while she plays that role. Eyes fake wet, but her heart so cold. I'm watching that show like this ain't right. Feeding that fear every single night. Nothing good here, it's nasty disgrace. Every last word, a slap in the face. Spreading untruth, telling all lies. Even got to know how to fake a little cry. Nothing good here, it's nasty disgrace. Everything she does, all for the chase. Thinks that she great, front and center in the frame. Makes it all about her, every darn case. Every darn case. Every darn case. I think she the creep from that horror show. Same cold laugh, same cheap glow. Teleprompter puppet on that glassy stage. Twisting those facts for a click in the wage. Says breaking story, but it's broken trust. Turn real pain into glitter and dust. I change the channel, but it's still that face. Everywhere I look, same nasty disgrace. Nothing good here, it's nasty disgrace. Every last word, a slap in the face. Spreading untruth, telling all lies. Even got to know how to fake a little cry. Nothing good here, it's nasty disgrace. Everything she does, all for the chase. Thinks that she great, front and center in the frame. Makes it all about her, every darn case. 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 Every darn. Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh oh. So gone, da 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 da. Yeah. Step inside the spot where the stories never sleep, where the shadows whisper secrets that they keep. Brewing up the tales with a twist of fate at the TruCrime Cafe. It's a date you can't fake. Every sip reveals a mystery, echoes from a history. Old school vibes with a brand new beat. Pull up a chair, feel the heat. Welcome to the TruCrime Cafe, where the past and rhythm collide and play. Spin the tales, let the truth survive. Old school pop with a hip hop vibe. TruCrime Cafe is the place to be. Pouring stories with a melody, catchy beats and dark intrigue. At the TruCrime Cafe, we believe. Oh 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 oh. Yeah yeah. Hear the record scratch, the scene unfolds. Detective tales and secrets told. From cold cases to headlines bold. Every note another story sold. Every sip reveals a mystery, echoes from a history. Old school vibes with a brand new beat. Pull up a chair, feel the heat. Welcome to the TruCrime Cafe, where the past and rhythm collide and play. Spin tales, let the truth survive. Old school pop with a hip hop vibe. TruCrime Cafe is the place to be. Pouring stories with a melody, catchy beats and dark intrigue. At the TruCrime Cafe, we believe. Crack the code, unravel lies underneath those neon skies. Sweet like coffee, sharp like clues. Rhythm and mystery fuse. Welcome to the TruCrime Cafe, where the past and rhythm collide and play. Spin tales, let the truth survive. Old school pop with a hip hop vibe. TruCrime Cafe is the place to be. Pouring stories with a melody, catchy beats and dark intrigue. At the TruCrime Cafe, we believe. So come around when the night gets deep, yeah. TruCrime Cafe, the secrets keep. Yeah.
All right, guys. Welcome back to the cafe. We're open for business. It is Saturday. I hope you're all having an amazing weekend and an amazing day because you are amazing and deserve all of that. Thank you for joining me today, taking time out of your lives. We're going to jump into part two of the um, Delphi Murders, Richard Allen's appeal response. I didn't get through much of it yesterday, but I wanted to give a set a stage for you guys to understand exactly what we're looking at and why there is actually an appeal being filed because of. So I wanted to show a lot of people didn't know the case either. So that's another reason why we took a little extra time yesterday. So we're going to dive back into that and cover some more of the response from the state on this, which is thus far it's pretty ridiculous, but it is what it is. As we discuss it, we will break it down, so on and so forth. I do believe I'll be being joined again by Miss Kim from Typically Unique, and we'll see who else decides to join us if they have any output that they want to add to this input, not output. Sorry about that. As I always do, I will throw that link up there and allow for that as well. And don't forget, guys, to make sure that once we get through this show today, to tune in at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight. The Verdict Room Unfiltered will be live once again with myself, Miss Kim from Typically Unique, Miss Logan from Bronx Tales True Crime, and of course, my awesome production manager, Mikey, with The Last 24, will be joining us. And our special guest tonight will be Birdie, joining us as we discuss and break down true crime cases. More than likely, it'll be Idaho, as it has been. So that should be a very interesting show tonight. I'm looking forward to it. Make sure you guys tune in 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to the Verdict Room right here with Birdie as our special guest. That being said, you guys know what comes next. Let's get this thing moving and stop listening to my mouth moving. Here we go.
Neon lights flicker like broken halos. Whispers gather in the smoke-filled air. Tables carved with secrets and shadows. Every story's a wound laid bare. The kettle's boiling with restless rage. Justice written on an unseen page. I sip the silence, bitter taste, waiting for the ghosts to show their face. At the TruCrime Cafe, we serve up the pain they try to hide away. Pour another cup of the truth you crave. Raise your glass to the names they betrayed. Mirrors cracked, reflections are liars. Ashes fall where the guilty once stood. The jukebox hums like a funeral choir. Echoes pounding through the neighborhood. Every scar is a candlelit vow. We hunt the how, we demand the now. No more silence, no more disguise. We'll paint the night with sharpened cry. At the TruCrime Cafe, we serve up the pain they try to hide away. Pour another cup of the truth you crave. Raise your glass to the names they betrayed. This is not a sermon, it's a battlefield hymn, a requiem dripping from the bottle's rim. The guilty write stories in invisible ink, but we'll drag it all up from the edge of the break.
right, all right. Welcome back, guys. Great to see you today. It looks like we have 20 beautiful peeps in the house with 13 likes, guys. Make sure to hit the like button when you come through that door, if you could, please, and share this out. Let everybody know what we're doing in here. Again, guys, this is part two of the Delphi Murders, Richard Allen's appeal response from the state. Reading through and pointing out what they have responded to in this effect, and it's just it doesn't make sense. So we're gonna go through this, break it down, discuss it. Again, I will be joined by Kim from Typically Unique here shortly. Definitely looking forward to that and getting her input as well as yours on what is going on in this crazy case. Another one. I don't think black and white, cut and dry cases exist anymore, guys. They just don't seem to. It's very sad. But welcome to you all. As I say, it looks as though we have Miss Jessie Lynn in the house. Cat K, Saluther75, welcome back to you. And thank you to all of my blue crew that's in the house here to support this today, taking time out of your weekend, your Saturday, to be here to do this. And we appreciate and love you guys for that so very much. Also, Ice Empress, welcome back to you. Miss Trish Crow, wonderful to see you here today. Esther Hahn, welcome. Great to see you. Let's see. It looks as though Saluti Kitty's in the house as well. Great to see you today. Beth Wagner, welcome. Great to have you here. Tina Skullscar, welcome. Teresa, great to see you again. Hit the like button, please, and share this out if you will. Come on in, guys. Grab a seat, get comfortable. Wonderful to see you guys here today. 24 people. It's moving up. 16 likes. Thank you, guys. Please, please, please make sure to hit the like button and please share it out. Let everybody know what we're doing. Definitely looking forward to getting through this today. This will be interesting for sure. All right, all right. Let's see what we got here as we're waiting. Let's see. Yeah. Do. All right, 1 minute here. There's Miss Kim popping in. It's okay. Take your time, Kim. We're not going nowhere. We're not going nowhere. Let me see. Again, for those of you that are in here, if you don't mind, do me a favor. I know quite a few of you do, but put a 1 in the chat for me if you are familiar with the Delphi, Indiana murder case that involved Richard Allen. And he's been convicted of the case as well, and has now filed an appeal against this case, a crazy case, to prove his innocence. New Mexico 444, welcome to you. Suzanne Silverstein, welcome back to you, or Stein, however you say it. Wonderful to see you guys here today. Thank you for joining us. And again, thank you to my blue crew for joining us today. Taking time out of your busy weekend, your family's lives, or whatever you're doing, to jump in here with little old me and help me to cover this crazy stuff today. Thank you, guys. And once again, you guys, don't forget, tonight, 6 p.m. right here, our secondary show, the Verdict Room Unfiltered with myself, Kim from Typically Unique, Logan from Bronx Tales, and Mikey from The Last 24. We will be joined tonight by Birdie at 6 p.m. again, Eastern Standard Time. It'll be a great show, guys. You don't want to miss it. I'm looking so forward to it. Truly, Birdie's a great dude. Always has some very interesting thoughts and feelings on things. We'll probably be breaking down the Idaho 4 case and where it's at this point, his thoughts and feelings, his opinions, and shuffling it around the table as we do a round table with him tonight. Definitely looking forward to that. Karmic Retribution's in the house. Good morning. Happy Saturday to you. There's little Miss Susie Little B. Good to see you. Welcome, welcome. Welcome, welcome, guys. I hope everybody had a great night last night. Thank you, guys, for those of you that hopped over and joined us at Devil's Advocates last night. Great conversation, as always, with myself, Miss Logan. Of course, Lee, Robin, and JJ last night. There was no 1-1, unfortunately. Appreciate you guys that supported us in that aspect. Great to see you. Miss Tandy's in the house. Seahawks fan, good to see you. Thank you for joining us, dear. Oh, it's cold again today. Good Lord. 35 degrees. This is why everybody's getting sick and staying sick. I swear to God, it is. One day it's 85, the next day it's 30. Just back and forth, back and forth. Mother Nature is definitely having a bad year. Somebody pissed her off. They need to fix it, whoever it was. This is craziness. Come on, come on. Like we got 37 people, 22 likes. Make sure you're hitting that button when you come through that door and like it, please. Even if you don't, you pretend like you can for just a little while, guys. Pretend like you like me. If you could, please and thank you. I do appreciate you very much for that. Does he know much about Delphi? Me? Who are you asking that for, Esther? Yeah, that's been going around, Karmic. Everybody's had this, like in and out, in and out. I've had stuff that's lingered since the last time I got stuck. Feels sick. Sorry, stuck. Like I've had stuff stuck in my throat. It's crazy, and everybody's going through the same things. These crazy headaches. It's ridiculous. Enough already. Off with the sickness, and let us enjoy spring for God's sakes. Welcome, Dale. Good to see you. Are you talking about me, Esther? Yes, I do know a lot about Delphi. I've covered it deeply. I have a lot of different thoughts on it. And again, these are my thoughts, my opinions, my feelings, but I do know quite a bit on it. So, no, yeah, I'm so sorry that you got that back, Tandy. Sorry. Tomboy had it back again, too. And there is the business. Caught the cold. I'm telling you, it's going through the internet. It's got to be going through the internet. I'm sorry, Fizzy. I hope you feel better, hon. Now she's got it. Get up, get up. Come on, get down with this the business. She got the sickness. And there you go, guys. Thank you, Tandy. Guys, make sure you are subscribed to this awesome channel and this amazing creator. She's amazing. Very, very interesting insight, very intellectual thoughts and feelings that she puts out there. Karmic retribution. I can never say it fast enough. Make sure you're subscribed to that link right there and hit the notification bell. That way you don't miss anything this awesome lady puts out. You will regret it. I promise you. If you don't. Christine Wright, welcome from Sydney, Australia. Another one of our Aussie friend in the house. Appreciate that. Oh, Birdie. I don't know that he does. That's probably why we won't be discussing it. I'll ask him tonight, though. Esther, I gotcha. Um, that's a good question. Does Birdie know anything about Delphi? I've never heard him really talk about it, so we could definitely ask him tonight if what his thoughts are on it if he knows anything. It's a great question, Esther. And again, for those of you guys that are going to be tuning into us tonight, put together some questions, if you will, that you would like us to ask Bertie. Um, Make sure you have it put together, and we definitely will throw them at him for sure. The mega stars in the house. Miss Meg, great to see you. Thank you for being here. I hope you're doing well today, dear. Sorry, yes, sir. I misunderstood, dear. Thank you. But that is a great question. It is. I had a kid in my class. Doctor kept saying it. Yeah, that's what their answer is, Tandy. That's what their answer. It's just allergies. It's just allergies until that person has a horrible respiratory infection. It's ridiculous. Jesse Lynn. Jesse Lynn. Good to see ya. That is tonight, dear. 6 p.m. Eastern. I do. I hope you feel better, Fizzy. Yes, it should be interesting, Christine. Me, Birdie, Miss Logan, and over with Bronx Tales, and of course Kim from Typically Unique, who'll be joining me here shortly, and Mikey with the last 24. Should be an amazing show. Birdie's a good dude. I've always had respect for Birdie. We may not always see eye to eye on our feelings towards these cases, but he's a good person. I like Birdie. 5 year time. Where are you? What time are you, Jesse? I forget all the time. Everybody's time things. Where are you at? I'd probably be able to figure it out better. There it is again, guys. Yes, make sure you are subscribed to the Karmic Retribution channel, please. I'm telling you, you guys will be disappointed if you go over there. Once you do go over there and you click on that link and you subscribe, you'll be like, why didn't I do this sooner? This lady is awesome. Miss Karmic, because I don't know what to call her. I'm gonna get her here with us one of these days. Um, she's got a little camera shy, maybe, a little stage fright, but we'll get her through that and get her up here because I would really love to have a full blown face to face conversation with her. She's very, very intellectual, very intelligent, makes really interesting points on her content when she puts it out. So don't disappoint yourselves, guys. Make sure you subscribe to her, please. Kiss Me Where I Pee. Interesting name. Welcome. Wow. Developed bronchitis last month, then found out it had to. Oh, that does happen a lot, you guys. That's horrible. Horrible. God. And if you're renting a place somewhere too, my son went through this. Like him and his wife and my granddaughter were living in an apartment, and it was in his closet in his bedroom. He had no idea, and my granddaughter kept getting sick all the time. She developed asthma, so on and so forth, and it's all based on that black mold stuff. It's insane what can happen. You don't even know it's there. Oh, okay. You're over there by Eddie. Gotcha. In Minnesota. Good stuff. So yeah, it should be a 5 year time. Christine Wright, 4:11 a.m. Sunday morning. Wow. We have some info too and concern, so I'd love to hear what he's got so far. Awesome. 112 where I am East Coast. Yes, it is 113 here. Right here in beautiful, boring, old Ohio. Kawanda is in the house. I guess it's in her basement. Oh my God. You got to get that cleaned out for sure. That's horrible. I'm so sorry you're going through that, hun. That is not good stuff at all. Karmic said that Fry was a part of the bust. This is Chief Fry. 2 million largest bust in the PNW, connected back through Idaho and Oregon, along with a sex trafficking. Wow. 3 businesses down bust. Damn. Interesting. Thank you so much, Karmic. Very interesting. See, we got things to talk about then. We got to jump up here and get you up here at one of these days and break this stuff down, hon. Everybody in here respects you. I promise you. Nothing to be afraid of. No stage fright. None of that. You will be very well respected. So, one of these days, I'm telling you. And to make sure, again, as she'll be joining me, thank you, Tandy, that you guys are subscribed to Typically Unique with Miss Kim. Again, another awesome channel you don't want to miss out on. I promise you don't. You will be definitely disappointed. Great creators, great content, great people, period. Ask Bertie. He started to talk about this a few days ago, and I'd love to. It's okay. I understand. I understand. I do. I hope so. I hope so. I mean, everybody wants to hear from you. Everybody would love to see you up here. I know that. We all love and respect you very much, Karmic. You do amazing things. So I hope you're able to just bite the bullet here soon. We really want you up here. We really do. Absolutely. Hold that together, dear. Hopefully you'll be here tonight and we can definitely throw that at him for sure. Write it down, please. We want your questions too. You guys are important. Country Wayne, new stand up. Oh wow. He's pretty funny, Tandy. Yeah, send me an email if you want to, Karmic. Um, I'll definitely hold on to that one and open it up later on. That's for sure. Jacqueline Keeley's in the house. Good to see you. 47 peeps and 31 likes. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for that. Did you see an officer is arrested in primary county for? No, I didn't. That's crazy. Is it Pima Pima County or primary? What were you trying to say there, miss? I know spell check does its own thing in here. That's what I thought. Pima County, got you. I did not see that. An officer arrested in Pima County for abduction. Really? Pima County, for those of you that aren't familiar, is where Nancy Guthrie disappeared from. Pima County deputy arrested accused of kidnapping and misconduct. Whoa. While we're waiting for Miss. Let's see this real quick. Thank you for that info, Miss Esther. This is just a quick news brief on it. Let's check it out, guys, while we wait. And true crime all the way around. Thank you, Miss Esther.
Story tonight as we learn a Pima County Sheriff's deputy is now behind bars. The charges against him include kidnapping and misconduct while on duty. News for Tucson's Alex Medina has more from the Pima County Sheriff's Department headquarters.
That deputy who promised to serve and protect worked here only a week ago. Now he's found himself on the other side of the law. This is 22-year-old Travis Reynolds appearing at his initial hearing after being arrested on March 19th. Reynolds is accused of requesting sex from a woman in his custody after transporting her to the Pima County Jail, showing that same woman.
Good God. It sounds like Letcher County, Kentucky again. You got to be kidding me. This guy, obviously, he works underneath Sheriff as well, so.
Explicit videos and telling her that if she engaged in sexual activity with him, he would help her case. The victim also says Reynolds told her she needed to lift up her shirt if she wanted to exit the vehicle she was transported in. Moments, she says, felt unreal and awful. At the court hearing, the prosecutor in the case expressed concern that because of Reynolds' position, this woman may not be Reynolds' first victim.
The victim in this case is very afraid of this defendant because of that power position that he had, of the power dynamics, and that he might retaliate against her.
Reynolds is set to appear back in court in early April. Meantime, he's being held on a $200,000 bond and no longer works here. Reporting from the Pima County Sheriff's Department.
No longer works here. Well, I would hope so. Good God. Power versus the people, guys. I told you, you put the wrong people and give them that power. Guess what? Here we are. It's a damn shame. Pull up your shirt, then you can get out of the car. I'll trade you sexual interactions and for me helping you with your case. Once again, same thing going on in Letcher County, Kentucky, folks. Same thing. Shame on you, sir. Shame on you. There he is. Right there's his name. Chris. The sheriff. This guy, another liar. Corrupted police officer, sheriff, whatever. I mean, Jesus Christ. Enough already, you know? God, thank God we have like upright and good police officers out there, folks. Otherwise, we would be completely screwed with as much corruption as there is out and about. You know what I mean? Micro Blue, good to see you. My Micro said, Karmic, you really need to consider you're very talented. She is too. We love her here. She's awesome. We can't wait. I'm not gonna push her. She'll do it when she's ready. I know she will. She definitely will. Amen to that, Kawanda. Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Amen to that. We got to put that on a t-shirt for real. New Mexico 444. Spinach and ricotta. Oh my God. I love you. Oh my God. Those are so good. I miss my grandmother. She used to make all of them. Good stuff. Good stuff. No. The guy that did that is a sheriff's deputy. He's just a deputy. Kiss me. But we were talking about Chris Nanos, who is the sheriff in that county. Wonderful to see you today, Kawanda. Again, as always, thank you for joining us. And that's it right there. We wonder why people don't want to call the police. We wonder why people buck at the system. I mean, and again, don't hear me the wrong way. I love and respect police 1,000,000%. I come from a law enforcement family. My father, my grandfather, and my uncle, all law enforcement officers. I just went the other direction and became a firefighter. So, but I thought about it. I was going to do it at one point in time. Things just changed for me. I had a child and got married, and everything went different. But again, we need law enforcement, folks. We need them. We need to respect them. We need to love them and let them know that they are supported and respected in our communities. What we don't need are corrupted law enforcement officers that care about nothing but themselves, that are not here to protect and serve, that are not here to do their jobs. And it's not hard to do. 1-1, you've all met 1-1. He's an NYPD police officer, captain for NYPD. Just recently been put in that position, and he has been there 20 some odd years and has not one time faltered. Okay? Why is it so hard? It's not. It's really not. Don't do it if you want to be that person. Do something different. Be a criminal. Don't work for the police department. Just saying. Let's see. I want a cannoli too. My God, I want one. I want an original too with the filling with the chocolate chips in it. I miss them so bad. Miss Kawanda says, Dago, do you think MPD is going to be on their bullshit and stall on Toyas until? Yes, I do. I absolutely do. I was going to bring that up tonight, Kawanda. That's exactly what I think they're doing. They knew that this was going through. They knew this was on the floor, at the Senate floor. Okay, they knew it was there, and they've started to back away from even responding to us when we reach out with our FOIAs. I think that's what they're doing, Kawanda. Very good call. I was actually going to bring that up tonight at the verdict room tonight. That is what I think they're doing, honestly and truly. Unfortunately, but yeah, very sad. Sounds good, Sluther. Jersey police. There you go, Esther. They don't play over there. All right, guys. Looks like we have 52 people in the house, 36 likes. I'm sure we'll get more. I know it is. It is. That's about all you can say, Kawanda, is ugh. It's heartbreaking. It really is. Susie says, my son is a New York State police sergeant. He's by the books. That's the way to be. Don't do it if you don't want to follow the rules. That's all I'm saying. It makes no sense. Our country has to reinstate ethics and morals. Amen to that one. That's something that needs to be on a t-shirt for sure. Reinstate ethics and morals, folks. We've lost our way. Amen. Thank you for that, Micro. All right. So Kim will be joining us here soon. I won't keep waiting on her, guys. I told her not to hurry. I don't want her to rush. So I will go ahead and pull this here. Jump back to where we were yesterday. And again, I want to thank you all for being here for this. Thank you all for supporting the channel, but thank you all for supporting this case and knowing and seeing the absolute insanity behind it. And the corruption, obviously, that's involved within this. It doesn't make any sense, okay? And I know there's people that disagree with certain things in this case and things that have been said as to what they believe it is, but you got to see these facts and then make your decision on it because they're there for sure. Oh, I absolutely understand it. Kiss me. Where is the tomboy at, Miss Tandy? Tell her to bring her booty in here too. We always love her input here. Tomboy's got. She's we're very very well versed in this case as well. As many of my team in here are, and has been very helpful in this case too. 1 minute here. Let's get this document up here and make this happen. Right, we're getting there. Boston, that's another scary place. For sure. For sure. All right. Let's see here. All right, we're getting there. Donna Salamander, welcome. Good to see you today. Hey, you're okay. This is ridiculous, Busy said. I have to show ID and sign for my delivery order from Walmart because I ordered. Oh my God. That is ridiculous. Sorry, Busy. Hope you feel better, hon, please. There's the tomboy. There she is. Yeah, Christine Wright. Good to see you. Thank you, Donna. Wonderful to see you today. Okay. Let's see. This new document here. Load up. Oh, wait a minute here. What is it? Oh, this thing is fighting with me. ATX, welcome. Good to see you today. Looks like we got 62 of you beautiful people in here today, guys. Please make sure to hit the like button and share this out. Oh, no. Tomboy, can you pull that document and throw it back here from your. I gave you the link, obviously, but I can't get it to open. Are you able to do that or not? It won't open up for me for some weird reason I don't understand. Great to see you today, ATX. Thank you for being here. What is going on with this? This better work. Okay. 1 minute. Let me try this here. There we go. Thank you, dear. You're amazing. Swear to God, you guys have the very best team. Very. She left it off where she was reading it. Let me back up here. We're not quite that far in, but we're close. Thank you, Tomboy, as always. Okay. Now this, for those of you that don't understand, I want you to understand something. This is the response from the state to Richard Allen's appeal. Okay. Are we going to get to see the defense come back at this? I don't know. Okay. But you have to know a lot of this stuff that's being put into this statement is not true. These aren't true facts. Okay. This is just the response from the state. This is their argument against him appealing the conviction. Okay. So don't take this as God's word, folks, because multiple things we've stated in here already definitely not true. Esther says, taking the Danes out to the logging road soon, so I won't be here all the time. Oh, no problem, Esther. Thank you for joining us. All right, guys, 1 minute here as I load this in. One moment, everybody. All right, guys. I didn't really want to get started without Kim, but if she can hear me, I guess that'll be good enough. So, I'm pretty sure we left off. If I, okay, I remember this now. I'm trying to get back to where I was. We covered that. All right, so this is where we left off right there. I remember ending it right there at the bottom of that page. Summary of the argument. Welcome, Hemi. Good to see you, brother. Sandra Kayoshi, welcome to you. All right. So this here we go with the summary of the argument. It states that the Frank's motion claim is waived in several respects, and it is meritless. Liggett did not include false statements or omit material information from the probable cause affidavit. Yes, he absolutely did. He absolutely did. And the affidavit still establishes probable cause, even if the challenged statements, omissions are included. So they basically just lied. They said that Liggett did not omit anything, but then they said, um, even if it did happen, probable cause in the affidavit still established probable cause. No, they don't. Not even close. Not even close. But okay. So you can tell that they lied. I mean, it is what it is. But anyway, Allen's challenge to his confessions is waived. Regardless, his confessions were voluntary. They were voluntary, but they were also based on coercion, folks. He was coerced to say the things he did. So, well, that's a joke. Okay. The requisite state coercion is absent, and the conditions of his confinement did not rise to the level necessary to constitute coercion. Are you kidding me? He was in solitary confinement in a 6x6 cell for 13 months. Yeah, they do. But okay. This is what the defense has to argue. Okay. And this is where the problem is. Allen also has not shown that the conditions caused his confessions, as the record provides other explanations for his desire to confess. And he confessed both before and after his period of, no, he did not, of his psychosis. He confessed during it, but okay. Allen's other state constitutional challenges are meritless. Allen's challenge to the exclusion of the IPAS settlement at the suppression hearing is moot, and he has not raised any challenge to its exclusion at trial. Regardless, Allen was allowed to present evidence of DOC policy regarding SMI prisoners in restricting housing and minimal probative value of the settlement agreement from an earlier unrelated lawsuit was outweighed excuse me, by the danger of prejudice and confusion of the issues. Its exclusion is at most harmless error. Bullshit. That's ridiculous. These are their excuses are a joke to me. Sorry. Not sorry. All right. The trial court properly excluded inadmissible evidence. Blair's investigatory sketch of Bridge Guy was not relevant because she did not identify Allen. It was unduly prejudicial, and it was inadmissible hearsay. Tobin's testimony was not relevant because it went to the admissibility of firearm identification evidence as a science, not to witness credibility in firearm identification evidence is admissible in Indiana. And this goes back to what I explained to you guys about how they twisted and lied about the bullet and how it was matched up to his gun and all this other stuff. It's ridiculous. Okay. Just one more idiotic thing. One more idiotic thing that they've done. All right. Oop. 1 second, folks. Be right with you. All right, sorry about that. Um, the audio of Allen's movement videos was hearsay. His two jail calls on April 3rd of 23 did not fall under the doctrine of completeness. Dr. Gratian's opinion that Allen's confessions were false was impermissible vouching evidence. Perlmutter's third-party motive testimony opining this was a ritual killing was properly excluded under Evidence Rule 403. Why was it excluded? That's what I'm not ever going to understand, but okay. It was impermissibly speculative, unsupported by any Odinist who could be connected to the crimes. That's not true. That is not true. That is a blatant lie, okay? And based on inaccurate or highly disputed contentions about the crime scene. Allen's proffered third party suspects were unduly speculative and did not tend to show Allen had committed the murders. Holder, this is Bradley Holder, we were talking about yesterday, had a confirmed alibi. It's a joke. That's a joke. Anybody can clock you in or clock you out. And he works at a damn salvage yard or a junkyard, okay, or a landfill where they dump garbage. Anybody could do what he does, okay? But anyway, um, they made it sound like he has to be there or it won't run, so on and so forth. Stop it. Anyway, um, making it impossible for him to have committed the crimes. And Allen never contended that Westfall, whose sole alleged connection to the crimes was his Odinism, could have committed the crimes by himself. Again, bullshit. Any error in the exclusion of any of this evidence was harmless beyond a reasonable doubt based on the eyewitness testimony and Allen's statement, placing himself at the scene, which combined to identify Allen as bridge guy, the presence of a 40 caliber cartridge cycled through his gun at the scene, and his numerous confessions. And again, this is all ridiculous. Hey, 1-1, good to see you, brother. Be safe out there. I hope you're doing all right, bud. We missed you last night. Oh, right, Suzanne. Welcome, Suzanne, again, and right. Again, the admission of the Google search for an alternative theory explaining the cell phone's audio output code was harmless error. Harmless error. Okay. None of the theories for that code made it more or less likely that Allen killed the victims. The trial court. Okay, 1 minute. Sorry, guys. The trial court probably denied Allen's motion to correct error. Allen did not show that the state offered demonstrably false testimony because he did not verify the date and timestamp on the surveillance video, nor did he establish a foundation for the FBI ping evidence. Allen had an adequate opportunity to impeach the witness with this evidence, but he strategically chose not to. Now, here's the thing, okay? I've seen people say that his defense team should have done better for him. They tried. Judge Gall would not allow for things to happen. She denied things left and right. She pushed them into corners. She had them removed at one point illegally. Okay, the way she did it was just completely illegal, and everything they tried to do, she stepped on and kicked it just as much as Hitler does. Okay, so again, they're they tried. They definitely tried. Okay, and they had a good case if she would have allowed them to present it. She denied it every direction you look at. The argument: the court properly admitted evidence found pursuant to a valid warrant search of Allen's house. Um, The search warrant for Allen's house validly established probable cause. Therefore, the court properly admitted evidence found in the search, the gun, a 40 caliber cartridge found in the bedroom, a blue Carhartt jacket, and knives. And here's the thing. In my opinion, the jacket that's being worn by Bridge Guy is not a Carhartt. That's not a Carhartt coat. Okay. Going down to the footnote, it says the vast majority of Allen's first Frank's motion memo and all of his subsequent Frank's motions are addressed to arguments about the warrant affidavit's validity that Allen has abandoned on appeal. The relevant portion of the Frank's memo asserting the argument raised on appeal is found at Appendix 50-63. Back up to where we were. So, because this appeal follows a completed trial, the issue is whether the evidence was properly admitted at trial. The ruling is reviewed for an abuse of discretion, and then it cites case law. But to the extent admissibility turns on the constitutionality of the search uncovering the evidence, that question is reviewed by de novo, Jacobs versus State. More case law. It says that Allen did not preserve this issue for appeal. Welcome, Jen. 7. Good to see you, dear. Thank you for joining us today. I've been to the last 2 No Kings protests. Everyone was cool. No issues whatsoever. Hope it all goes. Yes, agreed. Allen's Fourth Amendment challenge to the admission of this evidence suffers from multiple issue preservation problems. First, Allen waived this issue entirely by failing to object to the evidence at trial. A pretrial motion to suppress is insufficient to preserve an issue for appeal. The recent amendment to Evidence Rule 103B, which is not effective until July 1st of 26, allowing a preservation through the pretrial rulings, was not in effect at the time of Allen's trial and is therefore inapplicable to this case. And it's citing more case law there. Thank you, Miss Meg, and thank you to anybody that chooses to support us that way, guys. Donations or tipping or whatever you want to call it is never, ever expected. But anybody that chooses to support us, whether it's via PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, every bit of that goes to paying the bills here at the cafe so that I can keep doing this day after day. It pays our internet, it pays for StreamYard, and all the other little things we have to pay for to keep this thing moving. So thank you for that, Meg, throwing that up there. And thank you to anybody that will choose to support us that way. These bills get expensive, guys, and we don't make much as YouTubers, just so you know. So that way, anybody that supports in that fashion, too, there's nothing taken out by YouTube. We get that directly, and we do get it right away without percentages taken. So thank you for anybody that chooses to do it that way. We do so very much appreciate it. But again, it is never expected. Thank you, Meg. Allen, who does not acknowledge his waiver, makes no argument that the admission of this evidence constituted fundamental error. He has therefore waived any claim of fundamental error, again, citing more case law. Oh, wait a minute. I shouldn't have read that, I don't think yet. 1 minute. Where did that show up at? To preserve the claim of error, the defendant must contemporaneously object to the admission of the challenged evidence at trial. Allen did not object when the state elicited testimony pertaining to the search of his house and affirmatively stated that he had no objection to the admission of the gun and cartridge. And again, the reason why he did not object to it is because he knew it wasn't his. He knew he had nothing to do with this. He wasn't worried about that. Little did he know that they were going to railroad him, which is what they did. And that's why they absolutely did what they did. That's why he didn't object to it, and I do believe he actually did object to it, if I remember correctly, but that's why he didn't push it, is what I'm saying. He never did anything. Therefore, in turn, he never felt as though he had to. Okay. Tandy just said, yes, they did. The judge. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. The judge wouldn't allow it, as she didn't allow anything. Once again, here we are again. Thank you, Tandy. That must be Tomboy in the background yelling there. Where are we at now? So, To preserve a claim of error, the defendant must I already read that. I'm sorry, you guys. I lost my place again. Hey, Sleuty Goosey. Good to see you, Miss Goosey. I figured you'd pop around for this stuff. Great to see you, dear. It's been a minute. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Truly would love to hear what you think about the state's response to this mess. Oh, yes. You're absolutely welcome to join me, Sleuthy, if you want to. There's a link in the chat. So he had no objection to the admission of the gun and cartridge and the photographs of the Carhartt jacket and knives. And again, they did object to it. The judge wouldn't allow for it. Okay. Excuse me. By failing to reassure his Fourth Amendment challenge at trial and instead stating that he had no objection when the evidence was proffered, Allen has waived appellate review of his challenge to the warrant. Again, more case law. Stating that defendant may not affirmatively, state at trial that he has no objection to the admission of evidence and then claims such admission to be erroneous on appeal. This is such a joke, you guys. This is such a joke. Allen, who does not acknowledge his waiver, makes no argument that the admission of this evidence constituted fundamental error. Again, appellate's BR 5967. He has therefore waived any claim of fundamental error. Again, case law cited there. Moreover, Fourth Amendment issues generally are not subject to fundamental error review because they do not undermine guilt. Fundamental error review is available only when a defendant claims fabrication of evidence or willful malfeasance by the investigating officers. There is no claim of fabricated evidence here, and Allen's assertion that Detective Liggett recklessly made false statements or material omissions is not a claim of willful malfeasance. Only deliberate lies or intentionally misleading omissions could constitute willful malfeasance. And I'm telling you, in my opinion, that absolutely happened. It absolutely happened. Prove it. There's the problem. It has to be proven. Holy shnikes, look at that. Hello.
Hi, sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. How are you?
Well, I'm good, but I have a flooded basement, so it's a pain in the butt. So,
Again?
yeah. Yeah, it's not the whole basement, it's an area, but I have to keep throwing blankets down or towels down and then
Yeah,
cleaning it
yeah.
up.
No, I've been there. Remember, I went through the same thing. I guess when you live in Ohio, it's one of them things.
Yeah.
Sorry to hear that, dear. Sorry to hear that.
Thank you.
Hopefully it works out. Jesus. I hate when that happens. And if you need to go attend to that or be there for that, you don't have to be here, Kim. I understand completely if you need to go.
Oh, it's taken care of for now.
Okay. Okay. Good stuff. Um, where was I at? There is not. This is so ridiculous. It has me so irritated already, Kim. There is no claim of fabricated evidence here, and Allen's assertion that Detective Liggett recklessly made false statements, or yeah, I read that already, or material omissions is not a claim of willful malfeasance. Only deliberate lies or intentionally misleading omissions could constitute willful malfeasance. And again, that's what has happened in some senses, in my opinion. For both of these reasons, Allen's waived Frank's challenge is also not subject to fundamental error review. Second, even if the entire issue were not waived, the fourth way in which Allen alleges the magistrate was misled, Allen's description of his clothing that day and his wife's confirmation that he owned a blue Carhartt is raised for the first time on appeal. Allegations of error raised for the first time on appeal are waived. Again, case law cited. Trial court cannot be found to have erred as to an issue or argument that it had never had an opportunity to consider. I need to reach out to the custody queens and Ron Funk again, being that he's an appellate attorney. and get him in here. I want them in here to discuss this and talk about how they can attack this.
Yeah, that's so they're saying the defense never challenged his clothing
Right,
in
right.
the
And
original trial. Now, I don't remember every detail. And remember, the trial wasn't broadcast. So we had to rely on
right.
YouTubers who went into court and then gave their updates and notes afterwards. So I would be interested if that's a true statement or not. I mean, I do think that Richard Allen admitted to owning, didn't he? Those types of clothing.
He did. He did. I do remember that. Here's the thing, though. I own 3 Carhartts, okay? What I see the guy on the bridge wearing does not look like a Carhartt to me at all. Not at all.
Right. And owning a piece of clothing with no DNA on it is
Doesn't
not
make you a murderer.
evidence. That's not evidence. That's
Right.
I don't know, a circumstance. It's a coincidence.
You know how many men in the state of Indiana probably own a blue Carhartt coat?
Yeah, right.
I know how many in the state of Ohio probably do.
I think it's more like we call them like a bomber jacket. It's
Yeah, it kind of looks
yeah,
like a members only type jacket or something like that. You know what I mean?
yeah.
A bomber jacket, right?
Because I thought it was puffier.
It is, and that's the thing is I've looked at mine, my sons, all of my kids have them. We live in the country, folks. It's kind of a staple when you live in the country is to own a Carhartt coat, period. The Carhartt tag is not on that jacket anywhere. Nowhere. Okay, and I'll show you the bridge guy video again. There's a little leather tag, little triangular type tag about that big that is down on the front pocket of the jacket and on other parts of the jacket. It is not on that coat. There is no markings on that coat to make that a blue Carhartt coat. The material is different because Carhartt material is more like it's almost like a denim type material. Okay, the jacket that the man on the bridge is wearing is more like smoother, more like a nylon or I don't even know how to explain the material. It's definitely not Carhartt material. You can tell by looking at it.
Right.
It reminded me of a members only jacket or like a bomber jacket. Very good call. And it's blue. That's the only indication that anything is remotely close. So, right, Mandy. Everybody in Indiana has those clothes. Same, 100%.
And the guy on the bridge, didn't he also have a hoodie or something under it?
I believe he did, like a hoodie or a zip-up jacket. Right.
Yeah,
Duck
and the
canvas.
hat, like, did they find that hat at Richard Allen's house?
Again, he owns multiple hats. Okay, I know somebody else that has that hat. Brad Holder had that hat. I have one right here. It's not that color, but look,
Yeah,
it's the same damn thing. I have like 6 of these.
yeah.
Again, it doesn't mean anything. It means
No.
nothing.
Circumstantial. Yep.
Absolutely. Yeah, Sleuthy's right. It's like duck canvas. Very good point. I couldn't think of what to call it, but very
Yeah,
good
like a
point.
canvas. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yep. Thank you. Waxed canvas. There you guys. You guys are on point today. I love it. Buffalo Chick, welcome. And again, it doesn't look anything like a Carhartt. I argued that from the day that I saw that, okay? It just doesn't. So, where are we at now? Below only false statements. Okay, so below the only false statements or material omissions identified by Allen were Blair's description of Bridge Guy and her disagreement with the car boss sketch. Blair's description of the car parked at CPS building and Carbaugh's description of the man she saw walking. Allen did not identify Liggett's recitation of Allen's description of the clothes he was wearing and his wife's confirmation of his ownership of a blue Carhartt as false, misleading statements or omissions supporting his Frank's challenge. Because Allen's reliance on these statements is an improper appellate attempt to supplement his Frank's challenge. This court should limit any consideration of this issue to only the first 3 ways that Allen contends the affidavit is misleading, as those were only allegations the trial court had an opportunity to consider. This is going to drive me nuts. Hold on a minute. I got to show you guys.
I have a phone call. I'll be right back.
Yes, ma'am. While we're waiting on that, that's perfect. I can show you this real quick. Because I want your opinion on this, okay? Does this look like a Carhartt jacket to anybody in here? You can almost see the difference in the material, okay? It's shinier, smoother. It doesn't even remotely look like a Carhartt. Not even remotely. And there again, this 5'10" to 6'1" person here is definitely not 5'6" Richard Allen, just so you guys know. It's ridiculous. So I had to show you a wind resistant, rain maybe resistant type something like that. Yeah. That's exactly how I see that. So anyway, it was gonna drive me nuts until I showed you guys. So anyway, back to where I was. Kim will be right back with us. I'll hold the line for one moment, guys. Welcome, altruistic. Exactly what I said too, Moonlit. It looks like a members only jacket, which was popular in the 80s, which leads me to believe it's more like Ron than Richard. I agree with that too. I do agree with it. All right, let me pull this back up here. Exactly, Mandy. How did no one say they saw a short little gnome sized dude? Truly and honestly, Ron would have probably still wore that. Yeah, I agree. Not Richard Allen. Another thing I agree with. So anyway, I want to center in on something minimal, but that is important to me. I think it's an important detail. Um, Allen contends the affidavit's misleading, as those were the only allegations the trial court had an opportunity to consider. Finding alleged omissions from the affidavit waived because Derrick did not raise them in the trial court and limited our discussion to the omissions raised in Derrick's memorandum to the trial court in support of his motion to suppress. Finally, to the extent that Allen suggests that success on this issue results in suppression of his confessions, that claim is doubly waived first. Although Allen challenged the omission of his confessions below on other grounds, he did not raise any Fourth Amendment challenge to their omission or object to on the basis that there were fruit of the unlawful search. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Please make sure to hit the like button and share this out as you come through the door. We appreciate you very much today. A defendant may not object on one ground at trial and then raise a different ground on appeal. Because Allen did not object to admission of the statements on Fourth Amendment grounds in the trial court, he is precluded from challenging their admission on that basis for the first time on appeal. Actually, I should probably reach out, try to see if I can get Bob Motto to join me. This would be awesome to hear his point on this. Second, Allen's bare assertion that his statements are a suppressible fruit of the search is unsupported by cogent argument. All arguments must be supported by cogent reasoning and citation to authorities, and the failure to make a cogent argument waives claim for appellate review. To be a suppressible fruit of the search of the house, Allen's confessions must constitute evidence derivatively gained as a result of information learned during the search, rather than through a means sufficiently distinguishable as to be purged of any taint from the search. Boy, their words are fun. Allen does not explain how volunteered statements made to family, doctors, and correctional staff more than 5 months after the search of his house and after he had been advised of his rights, appointed counsel, and a court found probable cause to support his arrest, could constitute a fruit of that search. Listing as relevant factors in this analysis the amount of time elapsed between the illegal search, okay, there's that too, remember that, between the illegal search and the acquisition of the evidence at issue, the presence of intervening circumstances, and the purpose of flagrancy of the official misconduct. It is not this court's province to develop an argument on Allen's behalf. Welcome back, Kim.
Thanks.
Everything okay?
Minor little accident with my mother. So,
Oh, Lord. Is she all right?
yeah, she dropped a big, heavy glass bowl and glass went everywhere.
Oh, Lord. Okay.
So,
As long as she's okay. Jesus.
hope it's not coming in threes.
Right.
Where are you at with this?
Um,
And has
right here at the very top. What, do you want to read, ma'am?
I can read for a little bit.
Really? That would be
Yeah,
amazing.
I just gotta blow it up right here. Yeah, I got it.
You're amazing. Thank you.
So, right at the top, Northeast 3D.
Yeah, you can start there, and I'll
Just-
just scroll
okay.
down.
So that's just okay. By failing to present cogent argument on this point, Allen has waived any claim that his confessions are suppressible due to the alleged invalidity of the search warrant. So he can't say his confessions are suppressible.
Right.
Oh, he's waived that.
Waived it. Right.
All right. So then B is Allen has not shown that probable cause for the search warrant was predicated on false statements or material omissions. He's not shown probable cause. Okay. Waiver withstanding, Allen has not established a Frank's violation. Probable cause exists to issue a warrant when the totality, I need that sentence above that. Right there. Yep. When the totality of the circumstances set forth in the affidavit demonstrates a fair probability that evidence of a crime will be found in the location. What?
I hate their wording. I do.
Will be found at the location, like his house, the location? I don't know.
That's
Sir?
That's how I took it.
It's got to be, because just because you prove a crime happened at the bridge, that doesn't mean it's probable cause that Richard
Right.
Allen did it.
Exactly.
Search warrants are presumptively valid. Okay. And in assessing whether an affidavit established probable cause, doubtful cases should be resolved in favor of upholding the warrant.
Wow.
Okay. A defendant may invalidate a warrant by proving by a preponderance of the evidence that the affidavits used to obtain the warrant contain perjury by the affiant or a reckless disregard for the truth by him, and the rest of the affidavit does not contain materials sufficient to constitute probable cause. A defendant does not even receive a Frank's hearing unless he first makes a substantial preliminary showing, both that the affiant knowingly or intentionally or with a reckless disregard for the truth made false statements in the affidavit, and that those false statements were necessary to the finding of probable cause. They're just citing all these court cases. I think I need the top line. Yeah. Mistakes and inaccuracies of fact stated in a warrant affidavit will not vitiate. Oh my God, what is that word? Vitiate the reliability of the affidavit, so long as such mistakes were innocently made. Yeah, geez. Let's see. The burden to prove deliberate falsehoods or reckless disregard for the truth as opposed to innocent or negligent mistakes is a high bar. Oh, these are like all the main points that these court cases are making.
Right.
So I'm going up a little bit. There's another one that says allegations of negligence or innocent mistake are insufficient. So you can't just say they accidentally made a mistake.
Right. Good point.
Yeah. The presence of intentional or reckless inaccuracies alone is insufficient to invalidate the warrant. Probable cause must no longer exist after those inaccuracies are excised from the excised from the affidavit. Although it is not practical for police to include every piece of information relating to an investigation in a probable cause affidavit, an affidavit should include all material facts, which includes those that cast doubt on the existence of probable cause. Oh. Therefore, a defendant may also challenge a warrant by claiming the affidavit omitted material information. To invalidate a warrant based on alleged omissions, the defendant must show that 1, the police omitted facts with the intent to make or in reckless disregard of whether they thereby made the affidavit misleading. And 2, I think they can prove that in the Brian Kohberger case.
Yeah, definitely.
And 2, inclusion of the omitted information renders the affidavit insufficient to establish probable cause.
I think they can prove that here. But of course, they haven't allowed for it. So,
yeah.
Ridiculous.
And then it says Franks protects only against omissions that are designed to mislead or that are made in reckless disregard of whether they would mislead the magistrate. Did they do a Franks hearing in this case?
Yeah, I believe.
Or was it granted, I guess I should say?
I believe there was. Yeah, it's been a long time. I can't remember. I get multiple cases confused, but I think so.
Yeah, I haven't really followed the post conviction stuff.
Tomboy said no, they didn't. So there, I was wrong.
Oh, wow.
What was I thinking? Oh, no, she denied it. That's right. She did.
Okay,
denied
she
it.
didn't
That's
allow
right.
it.
Thank you, Tomboy. I was getting this confused for a minute. I was thinking of something else, but yeah. Nope, she did deny it. I remember that because I made a big deal about it.
It's crazy that they let the same judge that presided over the original trial, or that's presiding over the trial, make that decision. Like, that's, of course they're going to say no.
Yeah. Thank you, Tomboy and Sleuthy both. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So then this one says the affidavit did not contain false statements. Liggett's representation that Sarah Carbaugh reported seeing a muddy and bloody man who was wearing a blue-colored jacket and blue jeans was not a false statement. I thought the guy on the side of the road had white pants.
This changed a couple times, if I remember.
Yeah, I swore she said white pants.
Yeah, I'm glad Sleuthy's in here. Sleuthy probably could dictate this entire case in her sleep to us, so thank you for being here, Sleuthy. Yeah, this did change a couple times, if I remember correct, about the muddy, bloody. Then it was just muddy. Then it was... Once again, it's not a solid statement. It never was. So, Thank you, Sleuthy, again.
And yeah, I will say, because she said she saw the guy walking on the side of the road, and we drove on that road, and it looks super narrow, and a UPS type truck was coming towards us the opposite direction when we were driving, and I was like, oh my God, well, here's the test. Are we both going to fit on the road?
Right.
And we did, but barely. But yes, two cars like that? Because that was a big question for a while about that.
Yeah. 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 And Sleuthy said she said tan at first and then changed
Okay.
them to blue. I knew it
Yeah.
was
See?
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
God,
Yep.
we're lucky to have her here today for sure.
Mhm.
No, no, no,
Can I
no, no,
ask
no.
her a question real quick?
Please, yeah,
Actually, anybody in chat,
do
but
that, and I'll be right back anyway. So go for it.
okay.
Oh,
Okay.
wait, real quick. Thank you, Blue Eyed, for that super sticker. You're amazing, very generous, and God bless, hon. Go ahead, Kim.
That's awesome. Thank you. So a long time ago, I mean, a long time ago, probably during when the trial was happening, I stumbled upon, I want to say it was a YouTube channel. I'm not sure, but the creator had a link to a very comprehensive website, I think, that had just all the documents, just everything having to do with the Delphi case. And I swore I saved that link. I cannot for the life of me remember the name of the creator or the web page. But if anybody has that and you would like, if you're in Discord, link it for me in Discord or email it to me. Oh my gosh, I would greatly appreciate that. And it's a great website for anybody to have. I'm looking for that. Anybody know what I'm talking about? It was not Murder Sheet. It was not Murder Sheet. It was like a not so huge creator. I mean, I can't think of the name off the. Yes, Sleuthy Goosey. That might be it. That might be. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah. Yep. Something like that. Okay. All eyes on Delphi. I will.
What was it?
It's
Yeah. Yep, I
all
remember that one.
eyes
All eyes on
on
Delphi.
Delphi.
I just looked at that
And then I
yesterday.
will tell you guys, and I think I'm going to share this on my community page. There's a what's that website where you can share publicly like slideshows? God,
Oh, shit, what is that?
and they're free. But there's
Yeah.
a really good one with all the characters. I should say characters, all the important people in the Delphi case. And you can just like click on their names and like information about them will come up. It's very useful. So Prezi, it's on Prezi.
Prezi. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. And she said GitHub. Okay. Like I swore I saved that like in my links. That GitHub, all eyes on Delphi, but oh, that's criminalities. Okay.
I know criminality covered a lot on this.
Okay.
So let me see. Where do we leave off? Hold on. Let me back up here. Liggett's representation that Sarah Kaba. Nope, I already covered that. You did. Allen's claim of falsity rests on the video of Carbaugh's June 7th, 2017 interview, where she is only heard describing the man as muddy, not bloody. And that's what I was referring to. So there's that.
Yep.
Okay. And she said he wore a tan or lighter color coat with a dark hoodie or sweater underneath it. Definitely not a blue definitely not a blue Carhartt jacket. So there's obviously misinformation there. Okay, and a difference of a story. So I'll just say that.
Yep.
But Carbaugh was interviewed 3 times, all before the warrant affidavit was prepared, and Allen ignores Carbaugh's description of the man in her second and third interviews, which shows that neither representation was false. Oh my God.
Oh yeah, because we gotta watch those interviews because we know how they'll like put that information out there or just tell them, right?
Exactly.
Oh, are you sure it was mud? Was it blood? Oh yeah, it was blood.
What a joke. In those interviews, Carbaugh described the man as bloody as well as muddy. Footnote says Carbaugh believed that she used the term bloody once in the first interview, but that it could not be heard on the video because she was mumbling. She also what? Oh my God. She also explained that at least 1 hour of her second interview with police was not recorded. Anyway, Allen
Oh,
acknowledged the
yeah, the hour when they were telling her what to say.
Mhm. It just
Allegedly.
reminds me of Dylan Mortensen's interview, I'm telling you. I'd like to see this interview too, truly and honestly. Allen acknowledged at trial that she described the man as bloody 16 times in her third interview and said he looked like he had slaughtered a pig. She even marked where she saw the blood spatter on a picture of Bridge Guy during the interview. Liggett's representation that Carbaugh said the man was bloody was not false. Similarly, in Carbaugh's second interview, she corrected her previous inaccurate statement that the coat was tan. And in that interview, she said that the man wore a blue coat with a brown or tan sweater. Well, that must have been after they told her what he was wearing. That's how that came apart. It came to be, in my opinion. I'll just say it. Or hoodie underneath. Carbaugh also told police that the man in the Bridge Guy photo was the same man she saw on the road. And Bridge Guy was wearing a blue coat. Liggett's representation that Carbaugh said the man was wearing a blue coat was not false. Allen cannot prove falsity by cherry picking isolated statements and ignoring the totality of what Carbaugh said. Are you serious? These people are a joke. Nor can Allen meet his high burden to show deliberate or reckless conduct merely by the fact that Liggett's affidavit related the information from Carbaugh's most recent statements to police, which she had never uh, repudiated, rather than her first statement. That is particularly true in the context of an investigation this large and spanning so many years. Law enforcement interviewed huge numbers of witnesses in many cases more than once, and many of those interviews, including specifically the interviews of Carbaugh, took place years before Liggett was preparing his affidavit. He may not even have remembered that 5 years earlier, Carbaugh had once described the coat as tan, or that she had not said bloody in the first interview, given her overall certainty that she saw Bridge Guy and he was bloody. Finding Utley failed to demonstrate purposeful misrepresentation in the inclusion of several inaccurate or mistaken statements. I have a question, Sleuthy. I'm sure you've talked to Bob. So here's a quick question, real quick. Does the defense get to now come back and counter this? We were asking this question last night on the Devil's Advocates Crimes After Dark. Because I'm not 100% sure how this works. Now, are they allowed to counter this at some point? Or is this just how it's presented to the judge and then it's done?
So this is their response. Are you talking about number 2?
The entire thing. The entire thing. Okay, thank God. Okay, so the defense does get to counter. This is the response from the state after
Yeah.
the appeal. Okay.
And then it'll be the response to the response.
Right. That's what I just wanted to make sure. I don't want to sound dumb, you guys, but I don't know a lot about how this works in an appeal and what what's allowed, what's not allowed. So thank you, Sleuthy.
I did see someone talking about this. I don't know if it was Defense Diaries or who, but
yeah, Bob.
someone was speculating that the judge might not let that process go on for a long time. It's like, state your cases and let's get on with it.
That's what I was worried about. Sorry, Meg. I know Sleuthy's in here, but no, that's what I was worried about was how long is he going to allow this to basically ping pong? You know what I mean?
Right.
And I want to see them have the ability to present certain things that were denied the first time. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah,
they can respond to this reply. That's awesome. Okay, good stuff. Good stuff. So statements because the detective was in charge of an extensive investigation involving many officers and information coming from many sources, and as will be shown in subsection 2. Carbaugh's information is not necessary to the existence of probable cause. There they go again. That has no bearing on it once again, they're saying. So, how the hell did a fly get in here? I'm going to go nuts. I hate flies. Uh,
snowed last night. How are the flies out?
I
Although
don't
now,
get it. I have one fly. My son was standing with the front door open, bringing something in, and one fly found its way in my front door, and it's going to drive me absolutely insane. I hate it.
yeah,
Material information defeating probable cause was not omitted from the affidavit. Okay. Allen also claims the affidavit omitted material information by failing to include details of Blair's description of the car she saw parked at the old CPS building that were inconsistent with Allen's Ford Focus, and details of Blair's description of the man she saw on the bridge, excuse me, that were inconsistent with Allen's appearance. So footnotes claims it specifically that the man appeared youthful in his 20s or 30s and had poofy hair, hence the secondary sketch, folks. The younger sketch with the younger guy with the curly hair is basically what this is. Um, and the car was shaped like a 1965 Comet and was a nondescript dark color, but was not black, white, or red. That's the footnote on that. Anyway, so
that's funny because I owned a 67 Comet when I was in high school, and we called it the Pumpkin Mobile because it was orange, like copper orange.
I'd love to get my hands on that type of car now.
Oh, yeah. And I don't know. I didn't think it looked like that, but I know it was a different year, so they could have changed the shape.
I don't think they do either, but it is what it is. Allen did not show that these omissions were designed to mislead or made with reckless disregard about whether they would mislead, nor did he show that the inclusion of this information would have defeated probable cause. The requisite intent to mislead cannot be established merely by showing the fact of the omission itself. But Allen points to nothing beyond the omissions themselves as proof that Liggett was being intentionally or recklessly misleading, which is that's my feeling that he absolutely was. Can I prove it? Of course not. Failure to prevent evidence showing the omission of the defendant's exculpatory statement was a deliberate attempt to mislead was fatal. To his reverse Frank's challenge. I don't understand why I claimed that there was a Frank. What did I confuse this with? It's going to bother me now. Frank's claim in part because, aside from nothing these factual omissions, the defendant makes no attempt to establish that they were made deliberately to mislead or with reckless disregard. And other evidence refutes the suggestion this was done to mislead. For example, Liggett included the information that a second witness, Terry Wilson, who saw a car parked only minutes before, Blair did describe the car as a purple PT Cruiser or a small SUV type vehicle. Purple is not black, and neither a PT Cruiser nor an SUV looks like a Ford Focus. Very true. Where Liggett at attempting to create an impression that the witnesses had given descriptions consistent with Allen's Focus, then he would not have included those inconsistent details from the second witness. Indeed, had Liggett included Blair's description, it would only have emphasized that the probative value of the information was not that the witness had given a reliable description of the car's appearance. Their descriptions, after all, were not consistent with each other. Rather, the information was probative because both witnesses had seen a single car parked in a suspicious manner at this location at a time when other evidence established reason to believe that it was Allen's car parked there. Similarly, try that again. Similarly, I can't talk today. Oh my God. Similarly, there we go. Blair had told police that she recognized Bridge Guy as the man she saw, primarily based on his clothing, which was a match, not on some characteristic of his physical appearance. It is therefore understandable, not suspiciously misleading, that Liggett's affidavit focused on that aspect of her description. Welcome, Humphrey. Good to see you today. More fundamentally, given the construction of the state's probable cause, neither challenged aspect of Blair's information was material to the existence of probable cause, which explains both why there was no intent to mislead or recklessly misleading in effect in its omission, and why its inclusion does not defeat probable cause. The video from Liberty German's phone established probable cause to believe that Bridge Guy was the murderer. However, the probable cause to believe that Allen was Bridge Guy did not depend on the accuracy of Blair's description of the man, or the car, or the extent to which those descriptions matched Allen. Well, that's fair. Sure. And the probable cause affidavit did not create any misleading impression that Blair had identified Allen as the man she saw, or Allen's focus as the car she saw. Sorry. Probable cause to believe Allen was Bridge Guy rested on the following facts. Bridge Guy encountered um, Abby Williams and Liberty German on the High Bridge at 2:13. Around or shortly thereafter, 1:30 p.m., a group of girls passed a single man on the trail walking toward High Bridge. Brianne Wilbur identified the picture of Bridge Guy as the man they passed. And they're going to take that young girl. That's always bothered me that they're just going to, these are friends to the girls. Okay. Brianne Wilbur was a friend of Abby and Libby. So, hey, Scary, good to see you. They're going to take her testimony as 100% fact, being a younger, person that is upset because her friend has been killed, so on and so forth. And if you put something in front of this child's face, they want an answer to this, in my opinion. This is just an opinion, by the way, guys. That sure, I'm not saying this girl did something wrong. What I'm saying is it's very easy to mistake in that state of mind one person for another, in my opinion.
I also think there was new information that came out along the way, like looking at Richard Allen's timeline, and I don't think his time matched up with the time he would have needed to be on the bridge. I don't know how
Right.
much the defense got that in. I don't know if that like came out after the trial or what, but I remember hearing that.
No, I agree. And Jenna was just thinking that same thing. Sleuthy and Bob would be great to have on the verdict room with us.
Ooh, yeah, we can talk about Delphi.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Okay, so Anna Spass similarly identified the man
Uh-oh.
as
We're having a true crime moment.
what's wrong?
Nobody's here and music just went on upstairs.
That ain't true crime. That's paranormal. Sorry.
My daughter just left. And usually it's like Carlos's Alexa.
You need to go check something?
I am going to go check. I'll be right back.
Go for it.
I'll leave my sound on, so if you guys hear me scream, you can do something.
I will definitely do that. Well, she's talking to somebody, so it must be okay.
Okay, I'm okay.
Okay. Good
It was
stuff.
my daughter's Bluetooth. So even though she was out in her car, it connected to the I
Gotcha.
called her. I called her to confirm. I don't play around, you guys. I get to the bottom of it.
There you go. I told him, I said, she's talking to somebody, so she must be okay.
Oh, yeah.
Witchy said this is literally a Criminal Minds episode. And an SVU episode, right? Maybe Scream 14. Okay, so Um, Anna, man said nothing to them, although Riley Voorhees said hi to him. Um, Blair was walking the trail to High Bridge and back between 146 and 215. And footnote to that, number 9, says, um, because no Frank's hearing was held, the state did not have an opportunity to present evidence in response to the motion, where the state cites to the trial record. In this discussion, it is consistent with the information contained in the probable cause affidavit, and thus is reasonably deemed to be evidence that was shown by police at the time the affidavit was prepared. Although not mentioned in the probable cause affidavit, Voorhees testified at trial that she also immediately, what the hell? That she almost also immediately PM when she reached High Bridge, she saw the man in bridge guy photograph standing. What the hell happened? That's weird. On the first platform of the bridge, and she passed Abby Williams and Liberty German walking toward High Bridge as she was walking back to the trail entrance. None of these witnesses saw any other male on the trail during the time frame who could have been bridge guy. See, this is the biggest thing with this is that they have made bridge guy the one and only person that's responsible for this crime from day one. Okay. They made, just like they did with Brian in Idaho, they made the whole world believe bridge guy is the one and only person that committed this crime, period. So whether he is or he isn't, they've not given the world another choice to believe anything but that. So that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, the fact that it was him and only him is the point because I mean, I'm sure you
Right.
probably think the same thing, like that person is involved because they kind of like trapped the girls, right?
In
But
some way, yeah.
I definitely think it wasn't just one person.
If that person was involved, in my opinion, it was to lead the girls to the spot where the other people would have been involved, in my opinion, yes.
Right. Yeah.
Um, 1 minute.
That's true because thinking about that footage, I don't think we ever see how close he actually gets, right? They just say, is he still there?
Yeah, and it's hard. You see him behind her, walking up behind him, or behind her, I'm sorry. And then you can hear on the audio, he does get closer to him, but we don't see exactly how close visually, okay?
But
You
my
can hear,
point, just speculating, is that we're assuming it's his voice because of
yeah,
the way
that's
that
bingo.
they're using that video with the audio. So if you're trying to
Yep,
like pin it on somebody, you could manipulate it a little bit like that because we really never see the person who's talking, the male. We never see the male who's talking.
exactly. And I always wondered, I even said this before, you only see that direction behind her, you see him, and then you hear it. We don't know if somebody didn't come from the other direction, okay?
Mhm.
Behind, I always get him confused, but I think it's behind Abby, okay? That or Libby, I'm sorry. We don't know if there's another person that came from behind her. We can't see that at that point because the way the phone direction is facing. That's the problem. And they've never touched on that. They've never represented that in any way, shape, or form, or even attempted to think about that. It's always got to be bridge guy and him alone. Okay. We don't know if there's somebody else standing around them, coming the other direction, anywhere is all I'm saying. Or you know what I mean? That's one of the big problems with this. So,
Yeah,
and it's always bothered me. That's all I was saying with that.
for sure.
And none of these witnesses were represented in the affidavit as having identified Allen as the man they saw. It was Allen himself who provided the reasonable ground for believing he was the man these witnesses saw, and thus that he was bridge guy. Bullshit. Allen originally told police that he was on the trail between 1:30 and 3:30. So, footnote again, the Freedom Bridge entrance where Allen entered and the group of girls exited is further west, farther away from High Bridge, and the Mears entrance where Blair entered. Thus, although Allen began walking the trail approximately 15 minutes before Blair did, he would have walked past the Mears entrance approximately 10 minutes before Blair entered, and thus would have been only a few minutes ahead of her on the trail. Abby and Libby were dropped off at the Mears entrance no more than 3 minutes after Blair entered, and thus were only minutes behind her on the trail. That's if they took off walking that direction immediately. That has to be taken into account. What if they stood there and talked for 10, 15, 20 minutes first? You know what I mean? Or what if they stopped and bent down and tied their shoe? Or if they turned and went and looked at something else real quick or something before they started walking that direction? That's a guess at that, okay? A guess. So you don't know 100% if that's a fact, is all I'm saying. But
Mhm.
anyway, um,
Yeah, and that's witness testimony. That's
yeah,
her sister telling them the time, and, I mean, I don't know if there were cameras back then anywhere on the roads. There might have been that caught her, I think. Not sure.
I mean, that could be too, but I'm just saying these other little things, in my opinion, should be taken into account too. I could be wrong, and if I am, I am, but I'm just throwing these things out there.
Being on
Um,
the trail within the same 2 hours is very broad.
2 hours is a very wide range. Yes.
Yeah.
Um, a few minutes ahead of her on the trail. Abby and Libby were dropped off. I already did that. Sorry. And thus were only minutes behind her on the trail. Therefore, Allen's contention that the evidence showed only that he was on the trail within the same 2 hours the girls were abducted is incorrect. The timeline, but it's not, though. The timeline is far more compressed than that. It leaves only a few minutes in which Allen theoretically could have left the platform and been replaced there by Bridge Guy in time for Bridge Guy to be seen by Blair. Why is that so hard to whatever?
Well,
Which is
there's an
highly
issue with her testimony too, sorry. There's an issue with
yes,
her accounting of things too, like,
right,
so just taking what she says on account, and it can be proven with, like, her Apple Watch data, and
right,
she went
right,
into town at one point, right, to go to the bathroom, like, there's a
yeah,
lot of evidence to either support or counteract what she's saying.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Good point, and thank you for stating that. The timeline is far more compressed than that. It leaves only a few minutes in which I read that already. I'm sorry I keep doing that, you guys.
I think you're at
Therefore,
the
by
second
Bridge Guy
one.
in time for Bridge Guy to be seen by Blair, which is highly improbable given that Blair entered the trail understanding the other way. Yeah, I read all that. Anyway, what'd you say, Kim?
Just the second you were on the second to the last line, which is highly improbable.
That Blair encountered no other man on the trail who I thought I read that. Okay. Who
Okay.
could have been either Allen or Bridge Guy, right. I got distracted by my own mind when I was reading that. Okay. Because I don't think it's that improbable. Um, Platform on the bridge, and that he did not see Bridge Guy while he was there. Thus, Allen had placed himself on the trail and on High Bridge platform at the same time the witness saw Bridge Guy there. Moreover, although he could not recall with certainty by the time he was interviewed in 22, Allen told police that he was probably wearing blue jeans and a blue or black Carhartt jacket that day. Probably. It's 5.5 years beforehand. You don't know exactly and remember, but maybe he what to say that is absolutely I could have been, I probably was wearing because this is what Richard Allen wore day after day after day, so he knows that's why he said it, okay? It doesn't mean it's a true fact. Um, which was consistent with the clothing Blair saw and Bridge Guy was wearing. We've already talked about that. This created a reasonable probability that Allen was Bridge Guy and therefore the murderer. That's what I don't like, is that statement the way it's stated, okay? that Alan was Bridge Guy and therefore the murderer. We don't know that Bridge Guy is the person that murdered them. Okay, all we know is that Bridge Guy could have been involved. Could have been. That's all I'm saying. Um, why didn't they ask him when he was wearing when they talked to him in 2017? Thank you. And why wasn't that recorded?
That's what I was going to say. I'm curious as to how his initial statement those few days after the crime
Right.
compared to the later years later when his name resurfaces.
Exactly. Give me 1 second, Kim. I'll be right back.
Right at Susan, right, Susan Silberstein. Anyone see a short guy out there? Because I think even those younger girls that were out there said that the guy they saw was taller. For sure. I think when he was giving his initial statement, he was like, here's about the time I was out there and here's why I was out there. I think it was more like that when they should have been more interrogating of him at that moment, like asking what he saw as a witness.
All right, I'm here. I'm sorry about that. Not to keep demanding me do certain things. Doesn't seem to care that I'm in the middle of something. And he's a grown adult, so
Well, your son?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So, I'm sorry for the delays, you guys. So, regardless of any discrepancies between Blair's description of the man she saw and Alan, Blair's description of the man was not the foundation on which Alan's identification as Bridge Guy rested. And the affidavit did not need to remove all doubt or definitively establish that Alan was the man the witnesses saw and recognized as Bridge Guy for probable cause to exist. My God. Um, Probable cause is not proof beyond a reasonable doubt. It is not even proof by a preponderance of the evidence. Probable cause requires only a reasonable probability, not a prima facie showing of connection to the crime. Describing probable cause as a reasonable ground for belief of guilt, Allen placed himself on the trail passing the girls and on the high bridge platform at the time. Blair saw a man there, and those witnesses identified Bridge Guy as the man they encountered. That creates a reasonable basis to believe that Allen was Bridge Guy. Not really. In this context, it is not particularly significant that Blair thought Bridge Guy looked younger than Allen's age or had longer hair than Allen. Had Allen not placed himself on the bridge at the same approximate time that. Wait a minute, stop. Okay, see, this kind of stuff here is the stuff that bothers me. Okay. Lucy said, yeah, the one girl was 5'7" and said that she came up to the guy's shoulder, which couldn't possibly be 5'4" Rick. Amen to that, Lucy. I've been screaming that for years now. No way in hell. And again, they've already stated that the Bridge Guy was between 5'10" and 6'1", I think it was. At the very minimum, 5'10". Like Richard Allen's not even remotely close to that height. You can see it. So again, but what I was pointing out, though, what I was going to say, in this context, it's not particularly significant that Blair thought Bridge Guy looked younger than Allen or had longer hair. Those things are significant, though. Okay, that is a, a witness description. Those types of things are important, in my opinion. That can change the absolute total look of a person. Is all I'm saying. Okay, so it is significant. I'm sorry, but it is. I disagree with that. Those discrepancies between Blair's description and Allen's appearance might be significant to the existence of probable cause. Then their description of the man would be the sole foundation on which Allen's identification as bridge guy rested. But Allen's statement placing him on the bridge at the right time to be the man Blair saw there by itself creates a solid foundation to reasonably believe that he might be bridge guy, regardless of any discrepancies in the description of his age or hair. Jesus. After all, Blair only saw the man briefly from 50 feet away. It stands to reason. That's why it shouldn't be taken as solid. Okay. Definitely should not be taken as a solid statement. It stands to reason that her perception of his clothing might be more accurate than her perception of his age. A characteristic open to subjective interpretation or the length of his hair. And again, it was not necessary to eliminate all possible doubt that Allen was the man she saw for probable cause to exist. So it was immaterial if her description purportedly allowed for some doubt. Jesus. Omission of information that police smelled odor of marijuana throughout the neighborhood and specifically along a neighbor's fence line where they only found marijuana shake was not material to probable cause, given fact that officers also smelled marijuana odor coming from inside that defendant's house, and that's based off of case law there. Eyewitnesses identified a different person as a perpetrator with 100% confidence was not misleading or material to probable cause because police investigation had sufficiently cleared that person as a suspect. Okay. Omission of defendant's denial of alcohol consumption and asserted lack of sleep as alternative explanation for crash were not material to evaluation of probable cause to believe that he operated while intoxicated. Similarly, it was Allen himself who provided probable cause to believe that it was his car parked at the old CPS building between 1:30 and 3:30 because he told police that that was where he had parked and no other car was parked there. This was corroborated by Hoosier Harvest Store video, which showed a car matching Allen's Ford Focus driving toward the CPS building at 1:27. And was consistent with his wife's information that they usually parked at that location when they walked the trail. That reasonable probability remains even if every witness who drove past gave an inconsistent description of the car they briefly saw because the pertinent question is not whether the information excludes all doubt that the car was Allen's. Would you be interested in reading a little bit more? You're muted, ma'am. I didn't hear you.
Sure. Yeah, sure.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. My mouth is just getting drier and hell.
Yeah, I get it. So the significance of this information from Blair and Wilson was not that they had identified the car as Allen's, nor did the affidavit misleadingly suggest that they had. Rather, the significance was twofold. One, between 2:10 and 2:15 p.m., the time when Bridge Guy was encountering Abby and Libby on High Bridge, and Allen said he was parked at this location. There was no other car parked there. Thereby because they couldn't have parked anywhere else. Thereby reducing the likelihood that someone other than Allen was also on the trail at that time. And two, the car was backed in right next to the building, suggesting an attempt to conceal the car's presence or identity. Consideration of the omitted information does not remove probable cause. The search warrant was valid and the evidence was properly admitted. And this is the court properly admitted Allen's confessions. Okay. Although Allen did not preserve this issue, the trial court properly admitted confessions Allen made to his family, Dr. Walla and correctional staff. To his family, to Dr. Walla and the correctional staff. The confessions were voluntary, not the product of state coercion, and therefore did not violate his due process right against self-incrimination under either the 5th and 14th Amendments or Article 1, Section 14 of the Indiana Constitution. The footnote says, to the extent Allen requests in the alternative remand to hold a Franks hearing, he does not cite to authority for the proposition that such a hearing can be held post-trial while an appeal pens. So that sounds maybe like a Franks thing is still possibly they're trying to make that happen. I don't know. He also has not identified any evidence he could present at a hearing beyond the 133 exhibits he already submitted to the trial court in support of his motion. He had a full and fair opportunity to create an evidentiary record to support his claim, and this court has sufficient information to conclude that Allen cannot meet his burden of proof. Next page, yeah. His other state constitutional claims are meritless, and the trial court properly excluded the IPAS settlement, which was not relevant to the voluntariness inquiry. What's an IPAS settlement? Do you know?
IPAS settlement. I don't. Interesting. Sluty or Atlanta, do you, either one of you guys know? Was false reported for saying a word I didn't say. Oh my, that's hilarious. Really? Of all people, they're going to say she said. Interesting. Okay.
Ridiculous.
I was wondering where she was too. She's in YouTube jail because of that. How stupid.
Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry.
This is a hater. This is all it is. Somebody hating on her.
There are people on the warpath lately.
Yep.
Like, I've been having crazy Thursdays over at my channel.
Coming at me too.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
That's all right, hon. Thank you, Lana. And I'm sorry you're going through that. We love you. And Jesus Christ. Unbelievable. But we'll see you at least on the 11th over here, but I'll see you hopefully sooner. How long are you how long did they hit you for, Lana?
When's your furlough?
Yeah, when do you get to get out? Yeah, the hate has been crazy lately. Really bad. Ms. Mamakins, welcome. Make sure you guys are supporting Truth and Transparency. Show Miss Lana some love. Make sure you guys are subscribed over there. And everything, hon. Do it all.
You can help by watching old videos. Go watch her older videos, like them up, share them, like keep her channel active.
Absolutely. Keep hitting her nice, like Kim just said, the old stuff. Show the support, guys. Let them know they can't keep her down. Tuesday. Okay. Good God, that's a long time for you. Either way, we love you. As always, you know that. Thank you, hon. I appreciate you. It's okay. Unbelievable. This is a joke. Such a mess.
Yep.
So much for the Constitution, right? And she'd have never said that anyway. Of all people to say that, she'd have never said it. Good God.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
right.
well.
Keep going. Where was I? I don't know.
Oh,
the IPAS I was asking about, but we can.
What is an IPAS settlement? Anybody? Does anybody know what that is? An IPAS settlement? I've never heard of that before.
So the trial court excluded that settlement.
Right.
So not sure what that was, but okay. This issue is unpreserved, although Allen renewed his pretrial objections to the confessions before the correctional officers and Dr. Walla testified. He did not request a continuing objection or contemporaneously object to testimony about the confessions. More importantly, he affirmatively stated he had no objection to the documents memorializing his confessions to correctional staff and Dr. Walla. Can I keep going? And he does not argue fundamental error, thereby waiving that claim. This court should find the issue waived. I hope his attorneys didn't make that mistake. They should have made those objections.
I doubt they did.
Okay, this is Alan's confessions. He tried to get it overturned for 2 days straight. Jeez.
Wow, that's insane. I'm so sorry, hon. That is absolutely insane.
Yeah,
We all know. We all know you didn't say it. We got
people
your
are
back.
crazy out here. Yeah.
Just ignorant and rude.
Both the federal and the state constitutions prohibit the admission of involuntary confessions. So they're saying Alan's confessions were voluntary. And this is saying the federal and the state constitutions prohibit the admission of involuntary confessions. That they should have proved that it was involuntary.
Agreed.
Just the drugs alone. Jesus.
Absolutely.
A confession is involuntary when a person's free will has been overborne by a violence, threats, promises, or other improper influences.
Well, that fits all that, in my opinion.
Yeah.
He was threatened. I don't know about violence or promises, but improper influences and threats, in my opinion, absolutely happened. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think the defense would have had exact evidence of the threats, but I think definitely circumstantial, like you were saying, like someone standing right over him when he's on the phone with his wife, and maybe unaccounted for time when things were going on. I know that I think there's evidence that they like recorded or listened to him talking with his lawyer. I mean, there's enough stuff out there.
They video recorded him when they allowed him to.
Yeah.
That's insane. It doesn't make any sense at all.
There was enough evidence, I think.
I say F you all day, but come on, of all things I do right. That's what I said.
I know.
That's bullshit. That is absolute bullshit. This is absolutely nothing other than somebody hating on her. And whoever did it, go ahead.
No, finish your statement.
Whoever did it, shame on you. You're that pathetic, and you really disagree with what she said or whatever she was doing to the extent that you're going to do that and fuck with her livelihood like that. Shame on you. Shame on you.
Yep. I was wondering if her appeal is still in the process.
She said she fought it for 2 days, and then she probably just has to hold it till Tuesday.
It's crazy.
That's ridiculous. That makes me so mad, especially for somebody like her that has done as much hard work as she's done the things and covered the things she has, and helped the people she's helped to go at her with something like that, of all things, If it was because she swore at you or this or that, whatever, just like me, it is what it is. But there's certain things that people know Lana Oriani is not going to say or do. And that's one of the big ones. So everybody that knows her should know, including YouTube, for as long as she's been out here, that she wouldn't make a statement like that. That tells you that they don't pay real close attention to anything. So.
Yeah. But I'll just say again, like, seriously, go over and, when you can't make and post videos for days, that hurts. So go watch her videos, and giving views is huge. So go do that.
Yeah, get her views up, guys. Even if it's on a video you've already seen, you can screw them for what they're doing. Get her views up on her old stuff. Share everything out. Get people in there that have not been in there before, if that's even possible. But still, anything we can do to back her up, guys. Nothing but support.
Yeah. All right. So under the federal constitution, the state must prove voluntariness by a preponderance of the evidence, and the ultimate determination of voluntariness is reviewed de novo, though underlying factual determinations are reviewed only for clear error. I'm not sure what that even said.
I hate they're right. That's why she went to Twitter, Kim. number you're talking about.
Oh, that makes sense. That makes
Wow.
sense.
Make sure you guys are following her on Twitter at the very least. Okay.
That's what we can do. Yeah, yeah.
You don't have to apologize, Lana. We miss you too, hon. And we will be there to support you on Tuesday for sure. And sending people your direction. But make sure you guys are following her on Twitter. That's unbelievable. They rejected her with 3 human reviews. They claimed they did human reviews in 2 minutes on a 1.5 hour video. Bullshit. Bullshit. That's a blatant lie. Wow.
Wow.
Good God. I was wondering what was going
We
on.
love
Okay.
Lana. Go find her Twitter account. Watch those videos. There you go.
Yeah. If we have anybody that can post it in here, please do. One of the mods. And make sure you're following her, guys.
Yeah. Okay, so under the state constitution, voluntariness must be proven beyond a reasonable doubt, but the trial court's determination of voluntariness is reviewed as other sufficiency matters. These are like main points from their cases that they cited.
Right.
An appellate court will not reweigh the evidence of voluntariness and views the evidence in the light most favorable to the trial court's ruling. Jeez. If there is substantial probative evidence supporting the court's conclusion that the statement was voluntary, that conclusion will not be set aside. Wow, there's a lot of court cases where they're like, you just have to rule with the state.
Yeah, I know. Absolutely.
Right, oh, go ahead.
No, I can take over for now if you're ready. Coercive state action is a prerequisite to involuntariness under both constitutions. Coercive state action is a necessary predicate to a finding of involuntariness under the federal constitution. The Constitution is not concerned with moral and psychological pressures to confess emanating from sources other than official coercion. Stating that due process does not protect a defendant from his own compulsions or internally applied pressures which are not the product of police action. This remains true even when a defendant suffers from mental illness. A defendant's mental state is not enough to render a confession involuntary in the absence of coercive policy activity. Evidence of a defendant's mental condition that impaired his cognitive or volitional capacity is never by itself sufficient to render a confession involuntary for purposes of due process. Sorry, guys. Stating the mere fact that a defendant is mentally ill does not render his statement inadmissible. Even an actively psychotic or delusional defendant can give a voluntary. What the hell? Okay, stop right there. So you're going to tell me that somebody that is having a psychotic break, per se, okay, makes a statement and that is to be taken seriously? Are you kidding me? Come on. That doesn't make sense to me, okay? When you are out of your mind, okay? When you're out of your mind and you say something, that's an unreliable statement, in my opinion. There's Mikey. What's up, buddy? Chris Tat's in the house. Good to see you. Yeah, they can. They just can't run their own show. Yeah, I don't think that shouldn't be held to any kind of a standard at that point. If you're having a psychotic break and you're making a statement on something, it should not be taken as a reliable statement, folks. That makes no sense to me. None whatsoever. Anyway, at least that's how I took that. I think as long as you know right from wrong, they can use it. That's the thing, though, altruistic. If you're in an unstable mental state, okay, do you really know right from wrong at that point? Do you really understand the situation? That's what needs to be looked at here. That bothers me. That bothers me a lot. But anyway, uh that's just that doesn't I don't know. Candy TM, welcome. Torturing detainees. Yeah, that was back. Uh See, that statement there alone, even an actively psychotic or delusional defendant can give a voluntary confession. How is that? How? It just doesn't make sense. But okay, there's obviously case law for it. Oh, I gotta run. Hubby said Margs and she's dipped, so I'm out the door. Oh, okay then. Be careful, hon. Great to see you, Chris. A defendant's mental condition is relevant to the voluntariness inquiry only insofar as it renders the defendant more susceptible to police coercion. I don't know if I'm even reading that right, but I think, okay. Although Allen asserts coercive state action is not a prerequisite under the Indiana Constitution, he provides no analysis to support this assertion. I'm sorry. Well, when Alan made the statement on the phone to his wife and said, "Yeah, I guess I did this. There's somebody standing here." What do you take that as? And knowing that Kathy's saying, "No, you didn't. No, you didn't." Whatever. This is the stuff that irritates me. Um, he provides no analysis to support this assertion, and the Indiana Supreme Court has never held this. Cited by Allen contains only a generic reference to the state constitution, no separate constitutional analysis, and no suggestion that the definition of a voluntary statement under the state constitution differs from that under the federal constitution. Defining a voluntary statement in essentially the same terms as Robbins, no other justice has ever adopted Justice DeBruler's concurring opinion in Linthicum, state case law again, sorry, suggesting that police coercion might be required under the Indiana Constitution. Identified the applicable constitutional provision or engaged in an analysis of it. And both cases involve statements made in response to police interrogation, not volunteered statements. Okay, State versus Banks, more case law. Candy said, putting people in prison before conviction and gaslighting the situation. I hate this case. I tend to rant. Please do. This platform allows for any ranting that need be. Here in a little bit, I'm going to shut this down and pull you guys up here to be able to make your rants if you want to, of course. Protects against compulsion by legal process to give incriminating testimony. Explaining that Article 1's Bill of Rights protects Hoosiers' liberty from the reaches of the state. Allen identifies nothing in history, text, or precedent that suggests Section 14 protects against the compulsion to confess. That is independent of any state action, or that it applies to volunteered statements not made in response to police interrogation or state compelled questioning. Without coercive state action, there can be no compelled testimony under Section 14. I can't get past this. This blows my mind, and I can't stop thinking about it.
Yeah.
It's okay when you're in the middle of a psychotic break and make a confession or make a statement that it's a reliable statement and confession because you know right from wrong. Come on. You're not even in the same mental mode that you should be to know right from wrong.
Can I read that again?
Yeah. Sorry.
So, no, right there. Allen identifies nothing in history, text, or precedent that suggests Section 14. That suggests Section 14 protects against a compulsion to confess. So Allen's saying you violated Section 14, and that protects me against something. compulsion to confess that is independent of any state action or that it applies to volunteered statements not made in response to police interrogation or state so that's a big argument. That's one of their key arguments.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
Alan's lawyers are saying, hey, you violated Section 14 and I'm protected by that. I mean, they have to be able to prove that. I mean, the drugs,
Exactly.
the conditions, there's so much. I just don't think it can be ignored. And then compare that to other people in this situation. Are other people, even in Indiana, treated that way? That's a good question.
It's a good question and a good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not to mention, like I said, one of the phone calls that they're using as his confession, he says, word for word, he says, and it has to be able to be used. Yeah, I guess I did this. There's somebody standing here, though. I have to tell you I did this. There's someone standing here. Are you serious? I know how I took it, and most everybody else that heard it took it, so why don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, they did. They claimed that he was on video 24/7. There was a video camera in his cell.
I don't think that worked all the time.
I don't either.
Like, there's video missing. Like,
I agree.
Like other cases we know.
They only have the stuff that's convenient for them.
Altruistic murder, I don't think it's back in the day. I think that still applies. Locking up the poor, the sick, and the people of color.
Yeah, that's a fact. And it's sad because it's 2026 and up already.
Yep.
So none of the usual hallmarks of police coercion are present in this case. Wow.
Oh, sorry.
That's an interesting statement. All Allen's confessions were entirely volunteered statements. They were not made in response to any law enforcement interrogation. Factors to consider in the voluntariness inquiry include the length, location, and continuity of the interrogation. Okay, I'm going to stop right there and make a statement here. You're welcome. No worries, Paula. I think the length and continuity of them was because of the threats and the fear that the man had. Okay? I think it was repeatedly told, okay, this is an opinion. I don't have anything to back this up. But it's just based on what we know. I think his family was threatened to him more than many times. And as he stated, there was somebody standing there as he's giving this confession. And that's the coercion. That's why it was continuously happening, in my opinion. They wanted to make sure that it was heard, that it was solidified, so on and so forth, and recorded, underlined the right way. I think he had to say it a certain type of way, and they made sure that he repeated it multiple different ways until it was said the right way. These are, again, my opinions, folks. And I really don't think I'm reaching on this. I don't. Again, anytime he talked to his family or he talked to his attorneys, is my family okay? Is everybody okay? I think there were threats being made. I do. I have no doubt. Okay, so I'm just going to say that. The length, the location, and continuity of the interrogation. Confession made after continuous 36-hour interrogation with no sleep was involuntary. Allen was not subjected to torture. Bullshit. Beatings or physical abuse. Bullshit. By law enforcement. Think about what he was going through. Think about the mentality and everything he was going through. They may not have been beating on him physically, but they were beating on him mentally and emotionally, okay? Sometimes that's worse. I'm sorry?
Define torture.
Yeah, exactly. The man stopped eating his own food because he thought they were poisoning him. Okay? They put him in this psychosis state that he was in 13 months in solitary confinement in a 6x6 room that will make anybody go insane. Period. And then add medication to this to make you feel a certain. Come on, guys. There was a definite paranoia going on, and there was other things going on too that have not been recorded that we don't truly know about, that he can't tell us about. There was rumor that there was a stun gun used at different times and different cattle prod and thing. I've heard all these rumors, so I don't know what's right or wrong, but I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't. And then again, confession made after defendant threatened with loss of her children unless she cooperated and promised leniency. If she did, was involuntary. So don't you think that fits to be the same situation? Okay. Confession made after defendant threatened with loss of her children. How about confession made after defendant threatened with never seeing his family again? His wife or his daughter. Or worse, okay? They put him through hell and back twice, and then some, okay? And he was not held incommunicado and denied requested access to his family, or yes, he was, or legal counsel unless he confessed. They may not have done it that way, but they did it their way, okay? Which is in turn turned out to be the same thing. And that's true. Karmic is right with that. That was something that was pointed out a long time back, too. His first appearance, he's bruised and scratched up. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? Good point, Karmic. Stephen Fillmore, good to see you, brother. Plus, solitary confinement will drive a mentally healthy person bonkers. So if you're already struggling to hold it together, of course, he's 100%, Stephen. You are absolutely correct. The alleged coercive state action in this case rests solely on the conditions of Allen's confinement in the restricted housing unit, but the conditions of Allen's confinement did not rise to the level of coercive state action, rendering his confessions involuntary. How can they judge that? Were they there? No. They're just taking somebody's word. Bullshit. I'm calling it again. While the conditions of an individual's confinement prior to confession may bear on the question of whether government conduct was coercive, the mere fact that a defendant was held in disciplinary segregation or solitary confinement prior to making a statement is not sufficient to constitute the requisite coercion. Rejecting claim of involuntary confession based on conditions of solitary confinement, case law there, so on and so forth. Confession made after spending 2 years in solitary confinement was voluntary. Oh, wow. Confession made after 30 days in solitary confinement was voluntary. That's a little different than 13 months, guys. 30 days and 13 months. Come on. Let's see. Conditions of confinement rise to the level of psychological coercion or compulsion, rendering statements voluntary only when they are so severe as to be intolerable circumstances that constitute outrageous conduct by the authorities. I kind of consider that to be that, in my opinion, but okay. Isolation cells were not so intolerable as to constitute coercion. Are you kidding me? 13 months in a 6x6 cell that was a shit hole of a cell, mind you. There was nothing in there of anything nice. Do you guys realize how big 6x6 is? Anybody? 6 foot by 6 foot. That's like a closet, you guys. Okay? Literally a closet. Describing an involuntary confession as one procured by means revolting to the sense of justice. Holding conditions of confinement rendered confession involuntary for 2 weeks. The defendant had been held naked in a small cell with no window, no bed, or other furnishings, and no facilities except a hole in the ground serving as a toilet, fed only 12 ounces of pea and carrot soup and 8 ounces of water per day. Wow. Pea and carrot soup, 8 ounces of water, 12 ounces of soup. This is daily, folks. and denied all contact with the outside world. Conditions of the court deemed a shocking display of barbarism, confession involuntary when defendant held incommunicado for 11 days in cold, unlighted, windowless cell where he was kept chained to a wall, fed bread and water, and not allowed to bathe, and told that he would remain there unless he confessed. Jesus. Allen's reliance on Littlefield versus DeLand is misplaced. The mentally ill pretrial detainee in that case was held for 2 months in a strip cell with no windows, no interior lights, no bunk, no floor covering, and no toilet except for a hole in the concrete floor, was deprived of all clothes and given no bedding, was denied articles of personal hygiene, was given no opportunity for recreation outside his cell during the entire 2 months, and was not permitted to have any reading materials in his cell. Although those conditions are several orders of magnitude worse than Allen's conditions, the 10th Circuit did not hold that these conditions for a pretrial detainee were per se unconstitutional. Rather, it held only that they could not be challenged. That they could not be imposed without procedural due process. Sorry about that. On appeal, Allen has not challenged the safekeeping order or the denials of his motion to vacate it or otherwise raised any claim of procedural due process denial with respect to his placement in the restricted housing unit. Good God. Allen's confinement conditions were not outrageous or barbaric. Yes, they were. Although small, his cell was the same size as the other restricted housing cells and was furnished with a mattress in a bed frame, a toilet, and sink. It had a window to the outside. When Allen complained the window was scratched, the DOC replaced it. I'd like to see proof of that. I truly would. He could dim the light in his cell, and I'd like to see proof of that too. That he had a light dimmer in his cell. Are you serious? Come on.
I didn't think he had a window.
I didn't think he did either. And he has never claimed that the temperature in his cell was oppressively hot or cold. It is undisputed that Allen was offered regular nutritionally sufficient food, which constitutes that would classify him as a hunger striker. And drink was given all prescribed medications. He also had access to commissary. He was provided with laundry service and clean sets of clothes every week. Even when on constant suicide watch, he was provided with suicide smock to wear. He could shower 3 times per week. I heard that wasn't true. Except when precluded by suicide watch status, which is what they did to him on a regular basis.
Yeah.
He received 1 hour of recreation time 5 days a week in indoor and outdoor exercise area. I heard that wasn't true either.
I don't think he had outdoor access.
Right. He was allowed to have a Bible, other books and reading material, and crossword puzzles in his cell. And he was offered a television for his cell, but declined the offer. And I heard that wasn't true.
Yeah, they're going to give him a television. Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
Wow. Allen was never held incommunicado. He was appointed legal counsel and received both in-person visits and private phone conversations with his attorneys. He received at least 2 in-person visits with his wife. I question that. A privilege afforded no other inmate in restricted housing. He could receive.
I don't think she ever went to go see him there.
He may have been given those options, but it was 300 miles away, and she probably couldn't make it. Okay, that's the issue I have with that. They may have said, "Yeah, you can do this," but I don't think it ever got to happen. He could receive weekly visits from a chaplain upon request. Allen had a tablet in his cell that he could used to make phone calls to family and others. And there were issues with that, from what I understood from the beginning, too. When he broke his first tablet, he was given a second one free of charge. Also, a privilege afforded no other inmate. Allen could listen to music, watch movies, play games, and send written messages on the tablet. If it worked, which I don't think it did. Allen also received regular medical and mental health care. He was checked regularly by medical staff, including daily checks while on suicide watch. He also received daily checks by Dr. Walla, the YouTube fangirl, or other mental health professionals while on constant suicide watch, and weekly checks otherwise. I think Walla's the one that pushed him to confess. That's my opinion. Not to mention the coercion on top of it, too. He was offered at least one out of cell session with Dr. Walla every week. Thus, all of Allen's basic needs were met. He was given food, clothing, shelter from the elements, and access to sunlight, basic hygiene, medical care, mental health care, opportunity for exercise, opportunity for intellectual stimulation, opportunity for spiritual care, contact with loved ones, and contact with his attorneys. These conditions were not so barbaric as to overcome a person's will. Bullshit.
We literally heard you played that one attorney saying that
right.
he had a hard time getting to see him.
Exactly. They put him in a cage, folks. He couldn't even, and he was shackled and chained. It's a joke.
And we know
Go
the
ahead.
games that they play. Like, they will on paper make it look like we gave a iPad or, whatever that whole list of stuff is that they just said. So on paper, it will prove what they're saying, but in reality, we know that there's guards in there that are messing with stuff.
Right.
And, yeah, we gave it, but then it immediately gets taken away. But that's not documented. So,
or they gave him a broken tablet, claimed that he broke it, and then gave him another one that was broken, and then that was it. You know what I mean? So, or had no access. Right.
Right.
They don't tell you that part.
Right. Or we offer him a television when he's like, drugged out of his gourd and doesn't even understand what you're saying, and get him to say no.
Yep. Exactly. Or gave him a television that only will receive one channel of something that he's never going to watch. And then he said, what's the point, So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Moreover, wait. Not coercive when defendant could shower and exercise 3 times per week and was fed. There again, that's how they put it. That's not the reality of it, though. Moreover, except for the several days in which he received more favorable treatment, on the video-only camera in his cell, Allen's confinement conditions were identical to any inmate in restricted housing. Under the logic of Allen's argument, then, no statements made by inmates in restricted housing, such as their jail cell phone calls or Mirandized interviews, could ever be admissible. But he cites to no authority, and the state is aware of none that supports such a novel proposition. That is because the conditions of restricted housing, while undesirable, are a far cry from what is necessary to create an involuntary confession.
It seems like Indiana needs to change their law about how they treat people who have not even been found guilty yet. You are innocent until proven guilty. That law needs to change about putting them in those conditions. That's crazy.
He should have never been put in prison, period.
Yeah.
You weren't even tried, let alone found guilty, and they put you in prison. Come on now.
Yep.
Allen's confessions were not caused by the allegedly coercive conduct. Bullshit. For a confession to be involuntary, the coercive state must be causally related to the confession, emphasizing the essential link between the coercive state action and the resulting confession. Allen's argument assumes that the conditions of his confinement caused his brief period of psychosis and that his psychosis caused his confessions. But both premises are belied by the record. Moreover, belied by the record, sorry. Moreover, the state did not attempt to deliberately exploit Allen's confinement or mental illness to procure confession bullshit, explaining that a defendant's mental condition is relevant to involuntariness only when the police seek to exploit this weakness through coercive tactics. Of course, that's what they did, in my opinion. The confinement conditions did not cause Allen's confessions. The conditions did not become more oppressive before the confessions began, nor did they become more benign after Allen stopped confessing. And the state never made any threats or promises regarding those conditions predicated on his cooperation or willingness to confess. Moreover, the confessions were not coextensive with Allen's period of psychosis. He began confessing before he was psychotic, and he continued confessing after he was no longer psychotic. Allen was already confessing in early April. But it was not until April 13th that Allen became gravely disabled, and April 14th that his psychosis and manic behavior became significant. And he was involuntarily started on an antipsychotic medication. That's the Haldol. By May 2nd and 3rd, Allen no longer exhibited significant symptoms of psychosis, manic behavior, or lack of impulse control. Psychosis or mania. But he continued confessing. Allen's most detailed confessions to Dr. Walla occurred on April 5th and May 3rd. Before and after his psychosis, and it says with the footnote, even if this court finds the confessions made during the period of psychosis between April 13th and May 1st to be involuntary, they were merely cumulative of the numerous admitted confessions made outside that period. Are you serious? Of course, it doesn't matter because he did it anyway. Where are we at here? Moreover, the record provides a reason why Allen began confessing in early April that has nothing to do with the conditions of confinement or their impact on his mental health. First, Allen experienced a markedly stressful event around the beginning of April. He began his legal discovery at the end of March, beginning of April, and he had a meeting with his attorneys on April 3rd. His behavior began to change and worsen immediately after these two events. The discovery materials forced Allen to face the horrifying evidence of what he did to Abby and Libby. Images and events he had been able to ignore and repress for over 5 years, in which his guilt had gone undiscovered. Wow, this is such a show. He was also confronted by the realization that the state had sufficient evidence for a jury to convict him and that he was likely going to spend the rest of his life in prison. And he had to confront the realization that his family would be seeing these graphic images of what he had done. These realizations would be stressful regardless of whether one was already in pretrial detention, the conditions of that detention, or one's mental health. And second, after spending time in Bible study, Allen said he found Jesus and accepted God into his heart. He became preoccupied with religious matters and increasingly concerned about whether he would be reunited with his family in heaven and whether they would still love him if he had committed these crimes. Acknowledgement and repentance of sin is an important teaching in the Christian faith. A new convert's fresh concern with the status of his soul and the will of his God would lead to a desire to confess his sins, particularly when the conversion happened in close proximity to the inescapable confrontation with the sin through legal discovery. It is at least as plausible, if not more so, that the combined effect of his religious conversion and his receipt of discovery with its concomitant realities to be faced is what caused his confession, not the conditions of his confinement or his mental health.
Oh,
How
I
about
can't believe they're bringing religion into like they're explaining religion.
they're blaming instead of admitting to the coercion, they're trying to say that he found God. Give me a break. Agreed, Stephen. I don't believe that's what happened at all, by any means. I truly believe he was coerced, threatened with violence against him and or his family, or both. Um, that's why I said and or. But yeah, I don't believe it had anything to do with what they just said. So that's me. Um, where was I at? Receipt of discovery. I was in addition to undermining any casual connection between the conditions of the confinement and the confessions, the record also shows the state did not seek to exploit Allen's mental status to induce a confession. Bullshit. The purpose of his placement was not exploitive. Allen was validly transferred to the DOC as a safekeeper. From what? Remember what they transferred him for, folks. It doesn't make any sense. They were doing something for him, they're trying to say, and other people surrounding the case. I don't, excuse me, I don't believe that at all. They did this to harass him and to break him down, in my opinion.
They should have to prove that.
Agreed. I fully agree. The purpose of his placement was not exploitive. Allen was validly transferred to the DOC as a safekeeper. I want to see the proof on that. I do. And placed in a restrictive housing cell out of concern for his own safety, both from other inmates and from himself. Again, footnote says because he was a safekeeper, was not subject to DOC's policy regarding placement length in restrictive housing, and he had remained in the county jail. He still would have lived in a similar cell with constant video surveillance and minimal interaction with other inmates during comparable recreation time, but not with no in-person visits with family or legal counsel. Whatever. Let me find out where I left off up here now. This placement gave him significantly greater access to mental health professionals to help his pre-existing depression and anxiety problems. Sure, it gave him a doctor that was a YouTube freak, okay, that was watching and following multiple YouTube channels that were guilting him, commenting in the chats, and then she's going in, sitting down, saying, "So you killed the girls because of this, right, Richard? This is why you committed this crime, right, Richard? You did commit this crime, right, Richard? This is how you did it, right, Richard?" That's how she was talking to him. But then in the document stating that she was telling him not to talk about it. You're a liar. She admitted it on stand. This is how this happened, and they used her as a tool. Oh, shit. So I'm just saying, you guys. Anyway, I think we've been here 3 hours now. Where was I at? I at least want to get through the rest of this page. The state sought to offset the problems of social isolation by providing Allen with access to mental health professionals and a chaplain, regular exercise, regular contact with family, reading materials, movies, music, and operative television. They made this sound like this was Club Med, folks. None of this happened this way. None of it. Okay? They're telling you things. Sure, we said he could have it. Did he get it? No. Of course, we told him he could do this. Did he ever do it? No. We gave him broken materials to use that didn't work. You know, sure, we told him he could see Kathy. Did he ever do it? No, because we moved him too far away from her. Stuff like that is what I'm saying. Hi, Stiggy. Paterba, welcome. Blue Devil, good to see you. She admitted on the stand that she had said what she had said to him. That's why I'm saying what I'm saying, okay? When she was put on the stand about it, she admitted that she spoke to him about it, even though she denied and lied and denied and said she did. and she was on the stand, and she stated how she spoke to him and stuff like that. So, hi, Lizzie. Good to see you. Anyway, in addition to Allen's access to, or wait a minute, I skipped this. I'm sorry, guys. I skipped the paragraph. The state sought to upset. Okay, I read that. Exercise family, reading material, movies, so on and so forth. Okay. In addition to Allen's access to legal counsel, Dr. Walla advised him that he should not talk about his case with anyone other than his attorneys, and assured him that he did not have to talk about the case to receive mental health help from her. The state made no attempt to interrogate. Thank you so much, Susan, for that super sticker. You're amazing. God bless. Very much appreciated. Um, Made no attempt to interrogate Allen after his mental health began declining. When he became psychotic, the state did not ignore that condition while he continued to confess, but instead promptly initiated antipsychotic medication to restore Allen to his baseline mental health. Viewed as a sufficiency matter, the evidence supporting the trial court's rulings proves voluntariness beyond a reasonable doubt under the Indiana Constitution. Even reviewed de novo, the preponderance of the evidence proves voluntariness under the federal Constitution. Thank you so much, Karmic, for that. Have to run. See you guys tonight. Much love. Same to you, dear, and thank you for that super chat. Very much appreciated. The document deep dive really has enough in it to have reasonable doubt. Amen to that, Candy, and thank you. Jennifer Meinecke's in the house. Good to see you. Yes, thank you, Susan and Karmic, so very much for your donations. You guys are amazing. All right, guys, I think that's gonna probably do it for today. Yeah. So we'll probably have one more part to this, and that'll be the end of it. Third Apache, what's up? Good to see ya. Thank you for joining us. Kim, do you have any thoughts or feelings on this before we go? I want to have a little conversation about some of this stuff we talked about today, and give anybody the option to pop up here if they want to as well. So, questions, feelings, thoughts, opinions, anger, whatever you want to swear, break it down, whatever you want to do.
I mean, they're doing their best to try to contradict everything. You know, that's what they do. But
Their argument's a joke, though, in my opinion. It's just bullshit. Sorry.
and again, it's another situation where they're on the side that has all the evidence. So it's hard for, like, when you're talking about like jail, prison video footage, recordings, all that stuff, the actual conditions and the things they're saying that they gave him. Like, do you really think he had crossword puzzle books? I mean,
No, and there's no way to prove
yeah.
it. That's why they can get away with it.
Yeah, that's my point. Like, they're in charge of that. So, I mean, okay, if you're claiming he had access to that, show us.
Right.
You had video. Show us the video of him doing his little crossword puzzles in his cell.
That's
Have they
exactly
showed
what
that?
not that I ever saw. I want to see it. I want to see all this stuff. I want to see this cell with this window and the mattress and everything they said, all the amenities that they said he had. I want to see it all. Okay.
We've seen photos of the cell.
Right. That's not at all what they explained. Not at all.
Yeah, I wonder if I can
All the
find
trial info did come from Nick. That is a fact, guys. So take it for what it is. I can't wait till the defense comes back on all this with the actual truth.
right.
Oh, we gotta get you a microphone, altruistic. Nick promised a free loan. Yeah, he did. He did. The link is pinned at the top of the chat if you want to join Kim and I up here real quick to make any statements, opinions, feelings, thoughts, any of it. Please join us up here. We'd love to hear it. And your feelings on this are important too, guys. This is a joke. It is a joke. I cannot wait to see the defense's reply to this. I can't. And then I want to see what they do with that from there. And of course, they're going to have to show proof, folks. We know that. Okay. I think they have it. I do. Those town meetings and such are interesting. I've heard that before, Candy. It's probably a good thing I don't have one. I get it. But if you do get one, you're welcome to join us anytime. They are absolutely pushing. They're definitely twisting this to no end, folks, and without fail. And I had no doubt. I had no doubt. Oh, it definitely is. Excuse me. I have a piece of candy in my mouth. Sorry for all the crunchy stuff. Definitely a symptom of a much larger problem. I agree. Like when they said that he wasn't shackled when he was not being taken to court, he was forced to have meetings with his attorneys through small slot in a cell, completely shackled with his hands chained together backwards with a shackle box. That's not normal, folks. Inside of a cage, a tiny little box, basically, with this made out of metal with a little tiny little thing like this to see through. It's insane. Doesn't look like anybody wants to join us, Miss Kim. So we'll get Tomboy
Well,
up for one of these days. As we got part 3 will be up probably tomorrow. But don't forget, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight. Myself, this lady next to me, Miss Logan, and Mikey will be joined by Birdie tonight at the Verdict Room, guys. And that should be a super interesting show.
yeah, that's going to be good.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know. This Delphi case, I agree with you. I think there's like it's worse than in many ways than Idaho,
Yeah.
especially with the treatment of him. And
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
I hope, like you said, that his attorneys come back with examples of evidence to the contrary of what they're trying to say in this response.
Yep. That is a fact. That is a fact. Here, I'll give you guys a link to the show tonight real quick. Give me 1 minute. Mark the Spider Guy. You can keep your spiders, buddy.
That's another good point, Tomboy. Everything that they're saying in this response, the prosecution side is interpretation, right? What's their interpretation of
Right.
Exercise? What's their interpretation of torture? What's their interpretation of nutritional state level? It's those aren't objective answers. They're subjective, and the defense is going to be able to come back and counteract.
Oh, yeah, and I hope they shred it. I do, and they will. There's so many other pieces of factual information that can't be denied that completely wash this, okay? I cannot wait to see it. The link is in chat, guys, for the show tonight. And again, it's 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5 p.m. Central. You don't want to miss this one. I'm telling you right now. It should be interesting. I get these 2 awesome ladies up there joining myself and Goofy Mikey. He's amazing. He's so funny. But he always puts on, we put on a great show together. We all mesh very well together, guys. Great conversations. You don't want to miss it.
Yeah. Good panel discussion for sure.
Always, yes. He was granted conjugal visits with his wife, right, 300 miles away, and knew that she couldn't make it. The topic tonight with Birdie is more than likely going to be Delphi. That's his thing. And I mean, I'm going to ask him if he's familiar with Delphi, of course. And if so, we may get into Delphi. If not, then it'll be Idaho.
See, I think I kind of see the opposite of that statement. Like, that's one of the examples I think I'm talking about. Like, well, we offered conjugal visits. They weren't poor. They had good vehicles. They had good income. They had good jobs. You could make a 300-mile drive. That's not that. That's like, 3-4 hours. I mean, that's not impossible. So I don't know.
They did something, in my opinion, to make it hard for it to happen.
I'm suspecting, yeah, that it really wasn't an option or something. I mean, I don't know.
That's what I
Unless
kind of
they
thought.
unless, like, it was something like, "Well, it can never be done on the weekend. It would have to be during the week, and she has a job where she didn't have time off," like, things like that I could see, but, um, just to push back a little bit, I think if that was truly offered,
Right.
uh, I would drive forever to go see my husband. So,
Of course. And I think there was things that they definitely knew how to play the system with this, in my opinion. Okay, they knew how to play her, or not her, but play the system around all the things that they've claimed here. They may have done these things, and this is all again left up to interpretation. Remember that. Okay, they can say one thing, but it's how it's truly interpreted. That's important. Um, hey Lucy, Lucy. Um, and I'd like to see exactly how the defense, what they have to say about each and every one of these things. I can't wait. I cannot wait. Um, what we get from them is probably going to be closer to the truth than anything, folks, because it's the same thing that's happened this entire case. I don't either, Candy. I don't think there ever was a visit. There was never a visit between them that I can ever remember, conjugal or not.
right, I don't think so.
Mm-mm. I don't think they got to talk very much either until those phone calls started going through. And I think the only reason why the phone calls were allowed was so he could confess as they coerced that. Let's not forget that Richard Allen had an attorney that the state lied to the judge about in regards to his initial transfer hearing. That's true, too. Very good point. Very, very good point. Are you busy, Kim, after the show?
No,
just-
why? What's up?
I was just going to see if you could jump into the mod voice for a few minutes so we can discuss tonight a little bit. That's all.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thank you, Tomboy, for your input. Thank you all for being here. Thank you to the Blue Crew. And, of course, thank you to the amazing Miss Kim for joining us and giving us her input, thoughts, feelings, and being so helpful with the reading stuff. I appreciate you very much. I'm looking forward to tonight once again, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5 p.m. Central. It's going to be awesome, guys. I can't wait to see you guys. Don't forget to love yourselves. Love each other. Don't change a thing because you are truly the beautiful people, and we will see you here in just a few hours.
Thank
Bye-bye,
you.
everybody.
Bye, everybody.
The coffee's cold, the final stain. We laid the map out in the pouring rain. No hidden corners left to creep. The dark truth woke while the city was asleep. The evidence lines up straight and true. A perfect picture of what they chose to do. The quiet street erupts in flashing light. A reckoning delivered in the night. SWAT serves the warrant, loud and clear. The sound of justice, the only thing we hear. the darkness, back into the light. We'll wipe the counter, set the empty chair, and wait right here for the next secret laid bare. Until the